best to unmute oneself before talking. Hello, everyone. I'm Bree Good. I'm broadcasting from Connecticut, and I'll be playing the Duchess of York, Widow Norton, and Anne.
Hello, everyone. From Fairfax, I'm Lisa Hill Corley. I'll be Sellinger and Catesby.
Good evening, folks. I'm Tom Howley, coming from Beltsville, Maryland. In part one, I am Thomas Neville, the bastard Falconbridge. And in part two, I am the Constable of France and a fellow whose name starts with B. Lost his name, but I'll tell you in the second half.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Caroline Johnson, broadcasting to you from Washington, D.C. I'll be playing Jane Shore and Prince Richard.
Hey, y'all. My name is Bob Jones, coming at you live from Austin, Texas, Hookman. And I'm going to be playing Miller, Morton, French Messenger, Repertory, and Forest.
Good evening. I'm Tim McCormick, and I'm coming to you from Northern Virginia. I'll be taking care of the court messenger, an apprentice, the Master of St. Catherine's, and the Duke of Buckingham.
Hi, I'm Dwayne Richards in Waldorf, Maryland. I will be playing Chandler, Rufford, Burgundy, and Strangeage.
Hi there, I'm Laura Riley. I'm broadcasting from LA in California, and I'm going to be playing Nell the Tanner's daughter, a waterman, Vaux, and Fog? Is that how we say it, Claire?
Hi everyone, I'm Jillian Ritty. I am coming to you live from Alexandria, Virginia, and I will be playing Urswick the Recorder, Mistress Blage, Lady Scales, and the Sheriff.
Hi, I'm Ian Blackwell Rogers, coming out of Greenbelt, Maryland. I'm playing the Lord Howard, Jocelyn of the City of London, and the Duke of Clarence.
Hello, I'm Solomon Stone Romney. I am coming from Seattle, Washington. I will be playing the Captain of the Isle of Wight, King Louis XI of France, and Tyrrell.
Hello, I'm Nicole Ruth Murray, and I'm coming from Waldorf, Maryland, and I'm playing the Herald of England, Chorus, and Lady Lavelle.
Hi, my name is Brett Sullivan Sentry. Nice to see you this evening. I'm here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I'm playing an officer of the Lord Mayor, Hobbs the Tanner, Ross, and Shaw.
Hi, I'm John Stang. I'm coming to you from Arlington, Virginia. I'll be playing Master Shore, Lapierre, and an executioner.
Hi, I'm Joshua Williams. I'm in Alexandria, Virginia. I'm playing Edward IV, the murderer Dighton, and an officer.
All right, and 6 streams in, we finally messed up the start of our stream, so we cut off the introduction. So I'd like to invite some of our actors we missed to reintroduce themselves. Gary, Mikey, and Bree. Or sorry, let me check. Yes, Gary. No, wait, Gary, Jacqueline, and Mikey need to reintroduce yourselves.
Sounds good. I guess I'll go first. My name is Mikey Bannigan. I'll be playing Dorset, Heir, Bourbon, and Prince Edward.
Hi, my name is Jacqueline Chenault, and I will be playing Queen Elizabeth, the Mayor of London, and Mougueron.
Hello, I'm Gary Dubriel, broadcasting from Silver Spring, Maryland. I'm playing Ned Spicing, the Lord of Conte, and Richard, Duke of Gloucester.
And again, I'm Charlene V. Smith, Artistic Director of Brave Spirits Theater. Thank you for tuning in tonight. We are very excited about tonight's play. This whole streaming festival, we've been celebrating the history genre and the fact that lots of people were writing them, not just Shakespeare in this time period. And tonight we also get to celebrate the fact that other playwrights wrote 2-part plays as well, with Thomas Heywood's 2-part play, Edward IV. So this reading will run a little bit longer than our other readings. We've cut each part down to about an hour, and in between the 2 parts, we'll take a brief 5-minute intermission. Excuse me. All right, and I'm gonna, got something.
Would you like me to push forward with the dramaturgical intro? Good evening, everybody. My name is Claire Kimball. I'm dramaturg with Brave Spirits Theater and the director for Edward IV, parts 1 and 2. Unlike many of the other history plays that we've been visiting over the last few weeks through this reading series, Edward IV is somewhat less interested in palace politics and battlefield victories, although it does tip its hat toward those traditional elements. Instead, these plays zero in on crowd-pleasing early modern tropes and aspects of Edward IV that were more pop culture in nature. Ballads that famously portrayed him as a disguised figure coming upon a tanner and joining him for entertainment at his humble house, or notorious stories about his mistresses, including one we'll meet tonight, Elizabeth Shore, or Jane, as she's called in the plays. The play was originally published anonymously, but it's been attributed to Thomas Heywood since about the mid-17th century, and he's generally remained the accepted author ever since. Thomas Heywood's most famous early modern play is probably A Woman Killed with Kindness, which also centers around the misfortunes of an adulterous wife. In addition to being a playwright, Heywood was also a sharer in the Worcester's Men, and he worked as an actor for more than one company in the period. It's possible, as is always possible with the fluid writing relationships within early modern playing companies, that other playwrights had a hand in tonight's work. Certainly, it's possible that Michael Drayton, a prolific poet and playwright who was very familiar with and had written about a lot of the material found within these plays, was involved. The first and second parts of Edward IV appeared in the Stationer's Register in the summer of 1599 for publication, and its subsequent multiple printings speak to its popularity at the time. But it's now rarely, if ever, performed. It usually pops up with amateur school-oriented productions or reading series, like this one with Brave Spirits Theater. Each time Edward IV was published, the two parts were printed together as one whole story arc, tracing the king's interaction with a tanner of Tamworth, as well as the promotion, fall, and death of Mistress Shore. And there's a strange segmented aspect to these plays, a kind of episodic structure that focuses on a revolt for a while and then shifts to follow Edward's adventures with the tanner and Jane Shore. In part 2, we follow the king to his expedition in France for a while before we return home to finish the Jane Shore story and start to intersect with the villainous Richard, Duke of Gloucester, who eventually becomes King Richard III. We discover many of the characters from Shakespeare's histories, but explore those stories from an alternate angle. And Heywood's plays give identities and story arcs to characters that Shakespeare's Richard III only mentions in passing, like Mistress Shore and Dr. Shaw. In following the story of Jane Shore, Heywood's play naturally engages with the sexism of early modern England. A woman's chastity at that time was a concept not only of virginity, but also marital fidelity. King Edward's power shields Jane as his mistress from harm and allows her to exercise her privileged relationship to help others, but it devastates her marriage and her reputation. Once that protection disappears, Jane's neighbors feel free to scorn her and reject her in ways they had hidden before. Heywood is also very interested in situating the story in London. He peppers dialogue with references to places like Cheapside, Aldgate, and St. Paul's Cross, and he focuses in on the affairs of average citizens, merchants, and officials within that city trying to make a living, rather than the political goings-on at court with kings, queens, and dukes. Rather than focus on powerful people looking to strengthen their own dynasties, we mostly follow disparate pockets of that city world caught up in the lives of the kings who rule them, or sometimes manipulate them. There's a part of Edward IV that's concerned too with how people treat each other, how the pressures of early modern life shaped the choices of average women and men, how monarchs can neglect the duty they owe their subjects, how economic and social hardships can bring out the best and the worst in people, and what it takes to look past status, providence, or misfortune to connect with each other and do what is right. And now Brave Spirits Theater presents Edward IV, parts 1 and 2 by Thomas Heywood.
the talk of the day. And well was he where the bold tanner came riding on the way.
Son, I tell ye, you have done you know not what.
I have married a woman, else I am deceived, mother.
Married a woman? Married indeed. Here is a marriage that benefits a king. It is no marvel it was done in haste. God, that ere I lived to see this day.
For my faith, mother, I will be bold to bid you to the christening, grandmother and godmother to a prince of Wales.
Have you sent Warwick into France for this?
No, by my faith, mother, I sent Warwick into France for another, and now, as you see, are going about to get a young king.
But tell me, son, how will you answer this? Is it possible your rash, unlawful act should not breed mortal haste betwixt the realms? What may the French king think when he shall hear that, whilst you send to entreat about his daughter, basely to take a subject of your own, our noble cousin Warwick, that great lord, when he shall hear his embassage abused, in this but made instrument by you, I know his soul will blush within his bosom. Son, I tell you that this is done by you, which yet the child that is unborn shall rue.
All true subjects shall have cause to thank God to have their king born of a true English woman. Had I gone to it by fortune, I had made your sons George and Dick to have stood gaping after the crown. I had rather the people prayed to bless mine heir than send me an heir. Why, cousin Howard and Lady Sellinger, heard you ever such a coil about a wife?
Your princely mother's zeal is like a river. From her abundant care this rage proceeds, or swollen with the extremity of love.
Deem you but sorry for what you have done, and straight shall put a finger in your eye.
Aye, you are the spaniels of the court, and thus you fawn and soothe your wanton king.
Nay, I beseech your grace, my Lady York, even as you are a princess and a widow, think not so meanly on my widowhood.
Come, have done. Now have you chid enough. Welcome to Grafton, mother. By my troth, you are even just come as I wished you here.
Edward, fly and leave this place. Dishonor not the princes of thy land, to make them kneel with reverence at her feet, that ere didst impale with sovereignty that would have scorned to look upon.
She is a saint, and madam, you blaspheme to wrong so sweet a lady.
Thou art a minion and a flatterer.
Good cousin Sellinger, have patience. Her grace's rage by too much violence hath spent itself already into air.
Well said, good coz. I pray thee make them friends. What sudden news comes by this messenger?
My sovereign lord, the bastard Falconbridge of late hath stirred rebellion in the south, encouraging his forces to deliver King Henry, late deposed of the Tower, to the malcontented commons. They flock. His army waxed 20,000 strong, and, as it is supposed by circumstance, mean to take London, if not well defended.
Let this Phaeton that is mounted thus, look he sit surely, or by England's George, I'll break his neck. This is no new evasion. I surely thought that one day I should see that bastard falcon take his wings to mount, and now I see I calculated well. Good cousin Howard and Lady Sellinger, tomorrow you shall have commission to raise up power against this haughty rebel. Sirrah, depart not till you know our pleasure. You shall convey us letters back to London unto the mayor, Urswick, and our friends. Is supper ready? Come by, my bonny Bess. Welcome, mother. We are all your guests.
Hold drum!
Hold drum and be hanged!
Hold drum, hold! Peace then, ho! Silence to the proclamation.
Dear countrymen, I publicly proclaim, if any wronged, discontented English, touched with true feeling of King Henry's wrongs, Henry VI, the lawful king of England, who by that tyrant Edward the usurper is held a wretched prisoner in the Tower, if any man that fain would be enfranchised from the sad yoke of Yorkish servitude, well, know he that Thomas Neville, the Lord Falconbridge. Pitying King Henry's poor distressed case, takes up just arms against the house of York, and do proclaim our ancient liberty!
Liberty! Liberty!
Liberty!
Liberty!
General liberty!
Oh, no. We do not rise like Tyler, Cade, and Straw, but in the true and ancient lawful right of the redoubted House of Lancaster. Now, to those that aid a true anointed king, courage, brave spirits, and a cry of Falconbridge!
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 Bravely resolved, so march we forward all!
Have ye commanded that in every street they hang forth lights as soon as night comes on?
We have, my lord. Besides, from every hall, there is at least 200 men-at-arms.
Come when they will, their welcome shall be such as they had better keep them farther off. But where is Master Recorder? His advice must not be wanting in these high affairs.
I left him fortifying the bridge, my lord.
I tell ye, masters, aged though I be, I, for my part, will not to bed this night.
Why is it thought the bastard is so near?
How mean ye, Master Jocelyn, by near? He neither comes from Italy nor Spain, but out of Kent and Essex, which you know are both so near as nearer cannot be.
Nay, by your patience, good my lord, a word, a mischief further off would, and so forth.
Well, Master Jocelyn, we are sure you mean well.
My lord, now here comes Master Recorder.
Being my good Lord Mayor, the streets are chained, the bridge well manned, and every place prepared.
What if we stop the passage of the Thames with such provision as we have of ships?
It's doubtful yet, my lord, whether the rebels purpose that way to seek our detriment. Rather, meseemeth they will come by land.
Well said, Master Recorder. You do. I warrant.
As for the other, the whole companies of mercers, grocers, drapers, and the rest are drawn together for their best defense beside the tower, a neighbor to that place, as on the one side it will clear the river, so on the other with their ordnance it may repulse and beat them from the gate.
Soft, who is this? How now, my friend, what news?
My master, the lieutenant of the tower, gives you to understand he hath descried the army of the rebels.
Which way come they?
From Essexward, and therefore 'tis his mind you guard both Aldgate, Well, and Bishopsgate.
St. George away, and let us all resolve either to vanquish this rebellious rout, or seal our resolution with our lives.
Summon the city, and command our entrance, which, if we shall be stubbornly denied, our power shall rush like thunder through the walls.
Open your gates when I command ye.
What's he that beats thus at the city gates, commanding entrance as though he were a king?
I, Thomas Neville, the Lord Falconbridge.
We have no warrant, Thomas Falconbridge, to let your armed troops into our city, considering you have taken up these arms against our sovereign and our country's peace.
Well, I tell thee, Mayor, and know he tells thee so that cometh armed in a king's defence, that I crave entrance in King Henry's name, in right of the true line of Lancaster. Methinks that word spoke from a Neville's mouth should like an earthquake rend your chained gates.
Should Henry's name command the entrance here, we should deny allegiance unto Edward.
Oh, I tell thee, traitor, then thou bearest thy sword against thy true undoubted king.
Nay then, I tell thee, bastard Falconbridge, my Lord Mayor bears his sword in his defence, that put the sword into the arms of London. Richard, deposed by Henry Bolingbroke, from whom the house of York doth claim their right.
What's he that answers us thus saucily?
My name is Shore, a goldsmith by my trade.
Why, not that Shore that hath the dainty wife, the flower of London for her beauty?
Yes, rebel, even the very same.
Run, rascal, and fetch thy wife to our general presently, or else all the gold in Cheapside cannot ransom her.
Now, Crosby, Lord Mayor, shall we enter in?
Crosby, the Lord Mayor, tells thee, proud rebel, no.
No, Crosby. Oh, shall I not? Well then, doting lord, I cram the name of rebel down thy throat.
Come, let me see thee enter, if thou dare.
Oh, spoken like a man in a true velvet jacket, and we will enter, or strike by the way.
Swoons! Scale, rogues! Scale! A Falconbridge! A Falconbridge!
Set open the gates, nay, then we'll sally out. It never shall be said while I was mayor the Londoners were shut up in the city.
Oh, now, if ye be true-hearted Englishmen, the gates set open, and the portcullis up, let's pell-mell in to stop their passage out!
General, let us retire our troops and save our maimed men, or if we issue further, we are put to the sword, every mother's son of us.
Art thou that villain in whose damned mouth was never heard have any words but wounds or a plague upon thee, coward?
Why, how now, base Thomas? Swoons, dost thou impeach my manhood? Tom Neville, thou hast as good to have damned thyself as uttered such a word. Flatly I forsake thee. And all that love Ned Spicing, follow me!
Oh, no, come! Oh, you testy fool! Thou seest me grieved. Thou knowest I hold thee for as tall a man as any that lives or breathes our English air. Thou art my soul, thou art my genius. I cannot live without thee an hour.
Nay, Tom, if thou wilt have me mount on the walls and cast myself down headlong on their pikes, I'll do it. But to impeach my valor, had any man but thou spoke half so much, I would have split his heart. Still, beware my valor. Such words go hardly down.
Oh, no. Sound a retreat. There I command ye straight. Aye, but whither shall we retire?
Yeah, to Mile End Green. There's no fitter place.
Aye. March on. Away.
Ye have bestirred ye like good citizens, and showed your true selves subject to your king. The rebels are retired to Mile End Green.
Where so we may not suffer them to rest, but issue forth upon them with fresh force.
My Lord Mayor, diligence doth well, and so forth. Matters must be looked into as they ought. Indeed, should they, when things are well done, they are, and so forth.
Well, sir, we very well conceive your meaning, and you have shown yourself a worthy gentleman. See that our walls are kept with courts of guard, for we will now withdraw ours to Guildhall to take advice what further must be done.
Be not afraid, sweetheart, the worst is past. God have the praise, the victory is ours, and every street of London soundeth joy. Canst thou then, gentle Jane, be sad alone?
I am not sad, now you are here with me, but when these arms, the circles of my soul, were in the fight so forward as I have heard, how could I choose, sweetheart, but be afraid?
God save you, Master Shore, and Mistress, by your leave. Sir, my Lord Mayor sends for you by me, and prays your speedy presence at Guildhall. There's news the rebels have made head again. You, being captain of 2 companies, must lead the forward.
Friend, tell my lord I'll wait upon him straight.
Friend, tell my lord he does my husband wrong to send him foremost into danger still.
Peace, wife, no more. Friend, I will follow you.
If faith he shall not, prithee do not go.
Not go, sweetheart. That were a coward's trick. Envy shall never say that Matthew Shore the goldsmith stayed when other men went out to meet his king and country's enemy. Go to my lady mayoress and the rest. With them, be merry, and pray for our good speed.
To part from thee, my very heart doth bleed.
Yet stand we in the sight of upreared Troy, and proudly stand and gaze her in the face. Look on me, and I doubt not ye imagine my worth as great as any one of yours. But he that keeps your sovereign in the tower hath seized my land, and robbed me of my right. I am a gentleman as well as he. What he hath got, he holds by tyranny. We here, the Londoners, will leave the city, and bid us battle here on Mile End Green, whom if we vanquish, then we take the crown, the meanest soldier, wealthier than a king.
March fair, ye rogues, all kings or cap-knitters.
See how rebellion can exalt itself, pruning the feathers of sick discipline.
Mark but the scornful eye of Falconbridge.
I rather think 'tis fear upon his cheek.
Our coming forth hath, well, I say no more, but shall we take occasion and so forth?
How sternly in their own peculiar strength did they late repulse us from their walls. And now again, how expeditiously and unexpectedly they have met us here.
The bastard offers to come forth, my lord.
I am the man intent to answer him.
Crosby!
Traitor!
Oh, I doubt not, but that the traitor's name shall rest with those that keeps their lawful king in bonds. Meantime, ye men of London, once again, behold, my warlike colors are displayed, which I have vowed never shall be wrapped up until your lofty buildings kiss our feet, unless you grant me passage through your streets.
Passage, sayest thou? That must be o'er our breasts, if any passage thou art like to have.
Oh, why then, upon your bodies I will tread, and wade through standing pools of your lost blood.
We know thy threats, and reckon them as wind, not of sufficient power to shake a reed.
Well, sound then alarum. Crosby, courage thy men, and on this green whose cause is right, let it be quickly seen.
I am as ready as thou canst desire. The rebels are dispersed all and fled, and now his highness meets with victory. The king in person cometh to this place. How great an honor have you gained today?
Where is my lord mayor?
Here, dread sovereign.
You have not ta'en the bastard Falconbridge, or is he slain?
Neither, my gracious lord, although we labored to our uttermost, yet all our care came over short for apprehending him or spicing either. Under your leave, my liege, we have proclaimed, who bringeth Falconbridge alive or dead shall be requited with 1,000 marks.
Well have you done, and we will see it paid from our exchequer. Now leave we this, and come to you, that have so well deserved in these affairs. Kneel down, and all of you receive in field the honor you have merited in field. Arise, Sir John Crosby, Lord Mayor of London and Knight. Arise up, Sir Ralph Jocelyn, Knight. Arise, Lady Tamsin Urswick, our Urswick of London and Knight. Shore, why kneelest thou not, and at thy sovereign's hand receive thy right?
Pardon me, my gracious lord, I do not stand contemptuous or despising such royal favor of my sovereign, but to acknowledge my unworthiness. I have enough, and I desire no more.
Well, Be it as thou wilt, some other way we will devise to quittance thy deserts. Now, let me tell you all, my friends, at once, your king is married since you saw him last, and haste to help you in this needful time made me on sudden to forsake my bride. Let me entreat you would go boot yourselves and bring your king a little on his way.
Art thou the man whose victories drawn at sea filled every heart with terror of thy name? Why, tell me, liver of some rotten sheep, after by thy allurements we are brought to undertake this course, after thy promises of many golden mountains to ensue, is this the greatest comfort thou canst give? Hast thou ensnared our heedless feet with death?
You opprobrious villain! Stable excrement that never dreamst of other manhood yet, hadst thou and they stood to it as well as I, the day had been our own, and London now that laughs in triumph should have wept in tears.
By the pure temper of this sword of mine, by this true flesh and blood that grips the same, it shall be tried before we do depart, whether accuseth other wrongfully, or which of us two is the better man.
Oh, I shall but quit the hangman of a labor, yet rather than to be upbraided thus.
Hold, if ye be men! I bring you news of a proclamation. The king hath promised that whosoever can bring the head of Falconbridge or Spicing shall have for his labor 1,000 crowns. Save yourselves.
This proclamation comes in happy time. I'll vanquish Falconbridge, and with this sword cut off his head and bear it to the king.
This rascal was ordained to save my life. For now, when I have overthrown the wretch, even with his head, I'll yield me to the king.
Oh, that I knew how to betray them both.
Well, how sayest thou, Spicing? Wilt thou yield thyself? For I have vowed either alive or dead to bring thee to King Edward.
And I have vowed the like by thee.
Oh, here comes a miller. Help to part the fray. These are the rebels, Falconbridge and Spicing. The worst of them is worth 1,000 crowns.
Marry, and such a booty should I have. Submit, submit. It is in vain to strive. But what's the other? It has fled away.
Oh, Miller, that was Falconbridge. And this is Spicing, his companion.
I tell thee, Miller, thou hast been the means to hinder the most charitable deed. Chubb, thou canst bear me witness. I had ta'en that most notorious rebel, but for him.
Miller, he lies. Be sure to hold him fast.
Dost thou accuse me? Apprehend him too, Miller, for he's as guilty as any of us.
Come, you shall both together answer it. God save your honor. Here I present unto you, my Lord Mayor, a pair of rebels whom I did espy as I was busy grinding at my mill. And taking them for vagrant idle knaves, I came to keep the peace, but afterward found that it was the bastard Falconbridge, and this his mate, together by the ears. The one, for all that I could do, escaped. The other standeth at your mercy here.
It is the rebel Spicing. But what's this other? I have seen his face, and as I take it, he is one of them.
Tells you true, my lord. I am Chubb the Chandler, and I curse the time that I ever saw their faces. For if they had not been, I had lived an honest man in mine own country, and never come to this.
Out, rogue, dost thou recant for fear of death? Aye, Mayor, I am he that sought to cut your throat. I'll ne'er deny it. Do the worst you can.
Bring him away. He shall have martial law. And at the next tree we do come unto, be hanged to rid the world of such a wretch. Miller, thy duty is 1,000 marks, which must be shared betwixt thee and this poor fellow that did reveal him. And Sirrah, your life is saved on this condition, that you hang up Spicing.
I would hang him if he were my father to save mine own life.
Then when ye have done it, come home to my house, and there ye truly shall have your reward.
Well, Sirrah, then thou must be my hangman.
Aye, by my troth, sir, for fault of a better.
Commend me to bouncing Bess and lusty Kate. I die like a man.
Oh, Captain Spicing, thy vain enticing brought me from my trade, from good candles making to this painstaking a rebel to be made.
Dost thou hear, Brock, my mare? Take heed the thorns tear not the horn of my cowhides, as thou goest near the hedges. Let me see my executor here. My leather pouch. What I have ta'en, what I have spent, what I have gained, what I have lost, and what I have laid out. My taking is more than my spending, for here's store left.
Oh, good fellow, sawest thou not the king?
No, good fellow, I saw no king. Which king dost thou ask me for?
Why, King Edward, what king is there else?
There's another king if you could hit on him. One Harry, and by Our Lady, they say he's the honester man of the two.
Sirrah, beware you speak not treason.
What if I do?
Then thou'lt be hanged.
Well, thou sawest not the king.
No? Is he in the country?
He's hunting here at Drayton Bassett.
The devil he is! God bless his mastership.
Farewell, fellow, speak well of the king.
God make him an honest man. I hope that's well spoken. The devil is a dung cart. The devil in a dung cart. Now these roisters swarm in the country. Now the king is so near. This looks like a thief.
Hola, my friend. Good fellow, prithee, stay. If thou be a good fellow, let me borrow a word.
My purse, thou meanest. I am no good fellow, and I pray God thou beest not one. Good fellows be thieves.
I mean thee no harm.
What sayest thou to me? Speak quickly, for my company stays for me beneath at the next stile.
The king is hunting hereabouts. Dost thou see his majesty?
Which king dost thou quire for?
Why, for King Edward. Knowest thou any more kings than one?
I tell thee, I know none. Mary, I hear of King Edward.
Didst thou see his highness?
By my holiday, that's the best term thou gavest him yet. He's high enough, but he has put poor King Harry low enough.
How low hath he put him?
Hey, I cannot tell, but he has put him down, for he has got the crown. Much good do't him with it.
Amen. I like thy talk so well. I would I knew thy name.
Dost thou not know me?
No.
Then thou knowest nobody. Didst thou never hear of John Hobbs, the tanner of Tamworth?
Not till now, I promise thee, but now I like thee well. Is that thy gray mare that's tied at the stile with the hides on her back?
That's Brock, my mare.
Wilt thou take my courser for thy mare?
Courser, call'st thou him? Thy skittish jade will never abide to carry my leather, my horns, nor hide.
I pray thee, tell me.
No.
What say they of the king?
Of the kings, thou meanst. Art thou no blab if I tell thee?
If the king know it not now, he shall never know it from me.
Mass, they say King Harry's a very avoutree man.
And what's King Edward?
He's a merry companion and loves a wench well. They say he has married a poor widow because she's fair.
Prithee, tell me whether lovest thou better Harry or Edward?
Nay, that's counsel, and two may keep it if one be away.
Shall I say my conscience? I think Harry's the true king.
Art advised of that? Harry's of the old house of Lancaster, and that progeny do I love.
And thou dost not hate the house of York?
I know, for I am just akin to Sutton Windmill. I can grind which way soe'er the wind blow. If it be Harry, I can say, well, fair Lancaster. If it be Edward, I can sing, York, York for my money, York for my money.
I say Harry is the lawful king. Edward is but an usurper and a fool and a coward.
Dost thou not speak treason?
Aye, but I know to whom I speak it.
Dost thou? Well, if I were a constable, I should be forsworn if I set thee not on the stocks for it.
Well, let it go no further. But I did serve King Harry, and I love him best, though now I serve King Edward.
Thou art the errant or knave to speak ill of thy master. But, Sirrah, what's thy name? What office? And what will the king do for thee?
My name is Ned. I am the king's butler, and he will do more for me than for any nobleman in the court.
The devil he will, and I would I might see him in my poor house at Tamworth.
Go with me to the court, and I'll bring thee to the king, and what suit soe'er thou have to him, I'll warrant thee to speed.
I have nothing to do at court. I'll home with my cowhides, and if the king will come to me, he shall be welcome. Faith, 'tis pity that one subject should have in his hand that which might do good to many through the land.
Well, let's cast lots, whether thou shalt go with me to Drayton, or I go home with thee to Tamworth.
Lot me no lotting. I'll not go with thee. Thou shalt be welcome to John Hobbs.
Here's my hand. I'll but go and see the king served, and I'll be at home as soon as thyself.
Make haste, thou art best.
Farewell, John Hobbs, the honest, true tanner. I see plain men by observation do gather knowledge, and the meanest life, proportioned with content sufficiency, is merrier than the mighty state of kings. Now, what news bring ye? Where's the queen?
Her Highness and your mother, my dread lord, are both invited by Sir Humphrey Bowes, where they intend to feast and lodge this night, and do expect your grace's presence there.
Lady Sellinger, I have other business. I met a tanner, such a merry mate, so frolic and so full of good conceit that I have given my word to be his guest, because he knows me not to be the king. This night, Kate Sellinger and I must feast with Hobbs the tanner, their plain Ned and Kate, no king nor Sellinger, for £1,000.
Queen and Duchess will be discontent because His Highness comes not to the feast.
Good news, my friends. Harry VI is dead. Peruse that letter. Post back again for life, and thank my brother Gloucester for this news. Commend me to him. I'll see him tomorrow night. We'll post to London. So, good night, my lord.
Come, daughter, is your hands and your face washed?
Aye, forsooth, father.
You must be cleanly, I tell you, for there comes a court knoll hither tonight. The king's mastership's butler, Ned. But beware ye not, be not in love, nor overtaken by him, for courtiers be slippery lads.
No, forsooth, father.
God's blessing on thee. That half year's schooling at Lichfield was better to thee than house and land. It has put such manners into thee. Aye, forsooth, and no, forsooth, at every word. You have a clean smock on? Is supper ready? We shall have a posset. But indeed, the rats have spoiled my hard cheese.
Here's guests come. One, Ned the King's butcher, he says, and his friends too.
Ned the King's butcher? The King's butler. Take their horses and bid them come near house now. Mass, here's Ned indeed, and another misproud ruffian. Welcome, Ned. I like thy honesty. Thou keepest promise. By my troth, you're both welcome to Tamworth. Friend, I know not your name.
My name is Kate Twist.
Troth? I doubt you ne'er came truly by these gay rags. 'Tis not your bare wages and thin fees ye have of the king can keep you thus fine. But either you must rob the king privily, or his subjects openly, to maintain your probicality.
Thinkest thou so, Tanner?
Daughter, bid my friends welcome.
You're welcome, gentlemen, as I may say.
Why, thank you, fair maid.
Pretty wench, by my fay.
How likest her, Ned?
I like her so well. I would you would make me your son-in-law.
And I like thee so well, Ned, that hadst thou an occupation, I could find it in my heart to give thee 20 nobles ready money with my no, and trust thee with a dicker of leather to set up thy trade.
Ned, he offers you fair if you have grace to take it.
Does indeed, Kate, and hereafter I'll tell him more.
Come, sit ye down to supper.
I warrant ye, father, Ned is a very proper man. A pearl in my eye.
Daughter, we'll have a song to make our guests merry. What news at the court?
Heavy news there. King Henry is dead.
That's light news and merry for your master, King Edward.
But how will the commons take it?
Faith, the commons will take it as a common thing. Death's an honest man, for he spares not the king. For as one comes, another's ta'en away, and seldom comes the better. That's all we say. Here, Ned and Kate, I drink to ye, and yet, if I come to the court, I doubt you'll not know me.
Yes. Kate shall be thy surety, Tanner. I will know thee.
If thou dost not, Ned, by my troth, I pursue thee.
Let that pass. And let us hear your song.
Agincourt, Agincourt, know ye not Agincourt, where the English slew and hurt all the French foemen with our guns and bills brown. Oh, the French were beaten down, Morris pikes and bowmen, Morris pikes and bowmen.
Well sung, good mistress. I would the king heard you.
So should I, Faith. I should strain a note for him.
Tanner, grammar cease for our hearty cheer. If e'er it be thy chance to come to court, inquire for me, Ned, the king's butler, or Kate of the king's chamber, my companion, and see what welcome we will give thee there.
Farewell to you both. Commend me to the king, and tell him I would have been glad to have seen his worship here.
Come, Kate, for London. Horse, and hence away.
Thomas Neville, yet hast thou gracious time of dear repentance. Now discharge thy conscience, that we may witness thou dost die a Christian.
Why, Sir Harry Morton, have you arraigned, condemned, and brought me to this place of bloody execution, and now ask if I be guilty? Call you this law?
Thou dost mistake our meaning, Falconbridge. We do not ask as being ignorant of thy transgression, but as urging thee to hearty sorrow for thy vile misdeeds, that heaven may take compassion on thy soul.
Oh, how charitable you would seem to be! I fear anon you'll say it is for love you bind me thus, and bring me to the block, and that of mere affection you are moved to cut my head off. Oh, cunning policy! Such butchers as yourselves never want a color to excuse your slaughterous minds.
We butcher thee. Canst thou deny thyself that thou hast been a pirate on the sea? Or canst thou deny that thou didst rise in arms and twice assault the city London? Canst thou deny that being fled from hence, thou joinst in confederacy with France?
Oh, hear me, Sir Harry, since we must dispute.
Dispute, uncivil wretch. What needs dispute? Dispatch. Thou art as rightfully condemned as ever rebel was, and thou shalt die.
Well, I make no question of it. I must die. But let me tell you how I scorn your threats. So little do I reckon the name of ugly death as were he visible, but I would make him stoop to Falconbridge, and for this life, this paltry, brittle life, this blast of wind which you have labored so, I would not give the value of a point. You cannot be so cruel to afflict, but I will be as forward to endure.
Submit and ask forgiveness of thy king.
No, he is no king of mine. He does usurp. And if the destinies had given me leave, I would have told him so before this time, and pulled the diadem from off his head.
Thou art a traitor. Stop thy traitor's mouth.
I am no traitor. Lancaster is king. Oh God, thou pour'st the balm upon his head. Can that pure unction be wiped off again? Thou once didst crown him in his infancy. Shall wicked men, now in his age, depose him?
Thou triflest time, and dost but weary us with dilatory questions. Make an end.
Oh, indeed. The end of all kingdoms must end. And he that thinks he doth the most prevail, his head once laid, there resteth but a tale. Come, fellow, do thy office.
Come and yield your head gently to the block.
Well, then do thy work. Now, thou mayest get credit by it. For if thou dost not, well, I must tell thee plain, I shall be passing angry when 'tis done. England, farewell. And old Plantagenet, if thou dost survive, think on my love, although it did not thrive.
The king, my sovereign lord, will come anon. Oh, are ye come? Welcome, good cousin Shore, but you indeed are welcome, gentle niece. Needs, you must be our Lady Mayoress now and help us, or else we are shamed forever.
Well, let his highness come now when he please. All things are in perfect readiness.
Now, my Lord Mayor, have we not kept our word? Because we could not stay to dine with you at our departure. Hence, we promised, first food we tasted at our back return should be with you. Still yielding hearty thanks for the great service which you did perform against that bold-faced rebel Falconbridge.
My gracious lord, what then we did account no more than was our duty.
Thanks, good Lord Mayor. But where's my Lady Mayoress? I hope that she will bid us welcome too.
She would, my liege, and with no little joy had she but lived to see this blessed day. But in her stead, this gentlewoman here, my cousin's wife, that office will supply. How say you, Mistress Shore?
How? Mistress Shore? What? Not his wife that did refuse his knighthood at our hand? I must condemn him of discourtesy. For you had been a lady, but for him. He was in fault, trust me, he was to blame to hinder virtue of her due by right.
My gracious lord, my poor and humble thoughts ne'er had an eye to such great worthiness. Were welcome's virtue powerful in my word, the King of England should not doubt thereof.
Nor do I, Mistress Shore. Now, my Lord Mayor, Edward dare boldly swear that he is welcome. You spake the word well, very well, i' faith. But Mistress Shore, her tongue hath gilded it. Nay, drink to us, Lord Mayor. We'll have it so. Drink then, and we will pledge you.
All health and happiness to my sovereign.
Fill full our cup, and Lady Mayoress, this full carouse we mean to drink to you, and you must pledge us. But yet no more than you shall please to answer us withal. Hey, you must drink to somebody. Yay, John, to thee. Well, Sierra, see you do her right. Or Edward would. Oh, would to God he might. How now, letters to us? From whom?
My liege, this from the Duke of Burgundy, and this from the Constable of France.
What news from them? To claim our right in France, and they will aid us. Yea, will ye so? But other aid must aid us ere we go. a woman's aid that hath more power than France to crown us or to kill us with mischance. Thanks for my cheer, Lord Mayor. I am not well.
God shield my sovereign.
May it please your highness sit down?
Aye, fain with thee. Nay, we must needs be gone. Thanks for my cheer, Lord Mayor. Farewell to you, and farewell, Mistress Shore. Lady Mayoress, I should say. 'Tis you have caused our parting at this time. Farewell, Master Shore. Farewell to all.
While I attend the shop myself, see if the workmen have dispatched the cup. What said the gentleman to the fashion?
He told my master. I was not within.
Go, sir, make haste. Your master is in Cheapside.
Oh, rare perfection of rich nature's work. Her radiant eyes, dejected to the ground, would turn each pebble to a diamond. Gaze, greedy eyes, and be not satisfied till you find rest where heart's desire doth bide.
What would you buy, sir, that you look on here?
Your fairest jewel, be it not too dear. First, how this sapphire, mistress, that you wear? 'Tis set indeed upon the fairest hand that e'er I saw.
You are disposed to jest, but for value his majesty might wear it. I see you are come to cheap and not to buy.
Indeed. None should adventure on the thing that's to be purchased only by a king.
If kings love that which no man else respects, it may be so. Else I do see a small reason a king should take delight in such coarse stuff.
Lives there a king that would not give his crown to purchase such a kingdom of content? Why, Mistress Shore, I am the man will do it.
It's proudly spoke, although I do not believe it. Were he King Edward that should offer it.
But shall I have it?
Upon what acquaintance?
Why, since I saw thee last.
Where was that?
At the Lord Mayor's, in presence of the king.
You are deceived, sir. I had then no time, for my attendance was on his majesty.
I'll gauge my hand into your hand of that. Look well upon me.
Now I beseech you, let this strange disguise excuse my boldness to your majesty. Whatever we possess is all your highness, only mine honor, which I cannot grant.
Only thy love, bright angel Edward craves, for which I thus adventured to see thee.
But here comes one to whom I only gave it, and he will, I doubt, will say you shall not have it.
Sir, if you bid not too much underfoot, I'll drive's bargain betwixt you and my wife.
Alas, good Shore, myself dare answer, no, nothing can make thee such a jewel forego.
Alas, what ails thee that thou look so pale? What cheer, sweetheart?
Nothing, Jane. Know you the gentleman?
Not I, sweetheart. Alas, why do you ask? Is he thine enemy?
Oh, Jane, it is the king.
Oh, you are deceived, sweetheart. 'Tis not the king. Think you he would adventure thus alone?
I do assure thee, Jane, it is the king. Oh God, twixt the extremes of love and fear, and what a shivering ague sits my soul. O traitor beauty, O deceitful good, thou dost conspire against thyself and love, no sooner God but wished again of others.
I prithee, come, sweet love, and sit by me. No king that's under heaven I love like thee.
Now, Mistress Shore, what urgent cause is that which made you send for me in such great haste? I promised you had made me half afraid you were not well.
Oh, trust me, nor sick nor well, but troubled still with the disease I told you. Here is another letter from the king. Was never a poor soul so importuned.
But will no answer serve?
No, Mistress Blage, no answer will suffice. He it is that with such a violent siege labors to break into my plighted faith. Still doth he come disguised to my house, and in most humble terms bewrays his love. My husband grieves. Alas, how can he choose, fearing the dispossessment of his Jane?
Believe me, Mistress Shore, a dangerous case, and every way replete with doubtful fear. If you should yield, your virtuous name were soiled, and your beloved husband made a scorn. And if not yield, it's likely that his love, which now admires ye, will convert to hate, and who knows not, a prince's hate is death.
Then counsel me what I were best to do.
You know his greatness can dispense with ill, making the sin seem lesser by his worth. And you yourself, your children, and your friends be all advanced to worldly dignity. And this world's pomp, you know, is a goodly thing.
Alas, I know that I was bound by oath to keep the promise that I made at first, and virtue lives when pomp consumes to dust.
So we do say, dishonor is no shame when slander does not touch the offender's name. And who is having plenty in the hand that cannot work in such excessive things to quit the guilt one small transgression brings?
How now? What is the news with you?
The gentleman, forsooth, the other day that would have bought the jewel at our stall is here to speak with ye.
Oh, God. It is the king. Good Mistress Blage, withdraw ye from this place. I'll come anon as soon as he is gone. And, sirrah, get you to the shop again. Most welcome to your subject's homely roof.
How for thy sake is majesty disrobed, riches made poor, and dignity brought low, only that thou mightst our affection know. The want of thee, fair Cynthia, is the cause. But leaving this our enigmatic talk, thou must, sweet Jane, repair unto the court. His tongue entreats, controls the greatest peer. His hand plights love, a royal scepter holds, and in his heart he hath confirmed thy good, which may not, must not, shall not be withstood.
If you enforce me, I have naught to say, but wish I had not lived to see this day.
Blame not the time, thou shalt have cause to joy. Jane, in the evening I will send for thee, and thou and thine shall be advanced by me.
Well, I will in, and ere the time begin, learn how to be repentant for my sin.
But, Cousin Shore, are ye assured it was the king you saw in such disguise?
Do I know you, the uncle to my wife? So surely do I know the counterfeit to be king.
I know not, cousin, how she may be changed. She merited no scruple of mislike. If now some giddy fancy in your brain make you conceive sinisterly of her, then...
Uncle, you are too forward in your rage, and may much mistake me in this suddenness. Is it not strange that ever when he comes, it is to her, and will not deal with me? Though I misdeem her not, yet give me leave to doubt what his sly walking may intend. And let me tell you, he that is possessed of such a beauty fears undermining guests, especially a mighty one like him, whose greatness may gild over ugly sin. When kings themselves so narrowly do pry into the world, men fear, and why not I?
I wonder in this serious, busy time for his regaining of his right in France, he can be spared from these great affairs and wander here disguised in this sort.
How now, what news with thee?
Master, my mistress by a nobleman is sent for to the king in a close coach. She's gone by with him. These are the news I bring.
She is gone, thou sayest?
Yes, truly, sir, 'tis so.
Cannot help it. In God's name, let her go. Where kings are meddlers, meaner men must rue. Aye, storm against it? No. Farewell, Jane Shore. Once thou was mine, but must be so no more.
Good cousin.
Strive not to change me, for I am resolved. And I will not tarry. England, fare thou well, and then abroad, where'er my fortune be.
Thanks, cousin Howard, for thy pains herein. We will have letters sent to every shire of thankful gratitude, that they may know how highly we respect their gentleness.
One thing, my lord, I had well near forgot. Your pleasant host, the Tanner of Tamworth.
Ooh, had he kept his word and come to court, then in good sadness we had had good sport.
He's come to London on an earnest cause. His son lies prisoner in Stafford jail and is condemned for a robbery. Your Highness pardoning his son's offense may yield the tanner no mean recompense.
My lord in Holborn, 'twas my hap to see him gazing about. I sent away my men, and clapping on one of their livery cloaks, came to him, and the tanner knew me straight. How dost thou, Kate, and how dost thou, Ned, quoth he. I, knowing your majesty intended this day in person to come to the Tower, there bade him bid me where Ned and I would bring him to the presence of the king, and there procure a pardon for his son.
Have then a care we be not seen of him, because once more we'll have a little sport.
Go, honest fellow, bear my trunks aboard, and tell the master I'll come presently.
What lady hath we here that has so many suitors waiting on her?
Go, one of you, I pray you, inquire her name.
My honest friend, what lady call you this?
Her name is Mistress Shore, the king's beloved, a special friend to suitors at the court.
Name is Mistress Shore, the king's beloved. Where shall I hide my head or stop mine ears? But like an owl I shall be wondered at. Her good I had, but king, her ill is thine. Once Shore's true wife, now Edward's concubine.
Good, Mistress Shore, remember my son's life.
What is thy name?
My name is Thomas Eyre.
There is his pardon, signed by the king.
In sign of humble hearty thankfulness, take this in angels, 20 pounds.
Oh, what think ye, that I buy and sell for bribes his highness' favor or his subjects' blood? No. Without gifts, God grant I may do good. For all my good, I cannot redeem my ill. Yet to do good I will endeavor still.
And all this good doth but gild o'er thy ill.
Mistress, I fear you have forgot my suit.
Oh, 'tis for a license to transport corn from this land and lead to foreign realms. I had your bill, but I have torn your bill. And 'twere no shame, I think, to tear your ears that care not how you wound the commonwealth. The poor must starve for food to fill your purse, and the enemy bandy bullets of our lead. No, Master Rufford, I will not speak for you, except it be to have you punished. Is that another suitor? I have no bill of his. Go, one of you, and know what he would have.
Yes, Jane, the bill of thy obliged faith. And I had thine, but thou hast cancelled it.
Oh God, it is my husband, kind Matthew Shore.
Ah, Jane, what's he dare say? He is thy husband. Thou wast a wife, but now thou art not so. Thou wast a maid when thou wast wife. Thou wast a wife even now when thou wast a maid. So good, so modest, and so chaste thou wast, but now thou art divorced, falls, yet he lives that was thy husband, while thou wast his wife. Thy wife was stained by thy dishonored life, for now thou art nor widow, maid, nor wife.
I did endure the longest and greatest siege that ever battered on poor chastity, and but to him that did assault the same, forever it had been invincible. But I will yield it back again to thee.
Oh, Jane, there is no place allowed for me.
I will redeem the wrong I have done thee, with my true service, if thou wilt accept it.
I'll go with me, Jane. Oh, God forbid that I shall be a traitor to the king.
Why then, sweet Matthew, let me entreat thee stay. What is it with Edward that I cannot do? I'll make thee wealthier than e'er Richard was. Ask what thou wilt, were it 1,000,000 that may content thee, thou shalt have it, sure.
I have lost what wealth cannot return. All worldly losses are but toys to mine. Oh, all my wealth, the loss of thee was more than ever time or fortune can restore. Therefore, sweet Jane, farewell, once thou wast mine. Too rich for me, and that King Edward knew.
I ever loved thee, Shore. Farewell. Farewell.
Having awaked forth of their sleepy dens our drowsy cannons, which ere long shall charm the watchful French with death's eternal sleep, a while we will give truce unto our care. There is a merry tanner near at hand, with whom we mean to be a little merry. I must entreat you not to acknowledge me. Give me a cloak that I may be disguised. Lady Sellinger, go thou and take another.
What? John Hobbs, welcome and faith to court.
Grammar seized. Honest Kate, where is the hangman Ned? Where is that mad rascal? Shall I not see him?
See where he stands, the same as he.
What? Ned, how dost thou, mad rogue?
In health, John Hobbs, and very glad to see thee. But say, what wind drove thee to London?
Ned, did I not tell thee I had a knave to my son?
Yes, Tanner. What of him?
He's in Stafford jail for a robbery and is like to be hanged, except thou get the king to be more miserable to him.
If that be all, Tanner, I'll warrant him. I will procure his pardon of the king.
But Ned, is not the king in this company? What's he in the red petticoat? Before God, I misdoubt, Ned. That is the king. I know it by my lord, players. Ever when they play an interlude or a commodity at Tamworth, the king always is in red gown, like him.
No, trust me, Tanner, this is not the king, but thou shalt see the king before thou goest. This man is the Lord Mayor of London.
You are welcome, my honest friend. In sign whereof, I pray you sup with me this night.
But Ned and Kate, you promised me a good turn when I came to court. Either do it now or go hang yourselves.
I warrant thee, Tanner, fear not thy son's life.
Nay, I fear not his life, I fear his death.
All health and happiness to my sovereign.
Master of St. Catherine's hath marred all.
Out, alas, that ever I was born. I can but die, for I have so defended you by calling you plain Ned, mad rogue and rascal, that I know you'll have me hanged.
Tanner, attend. Not only do we pardon thee, but in all princely kindness welcome thee. And thy son's trespass we pardon too. Now, Master of St. Catherine's, what would you?
My gracious lord, the great benevolence of poor St. Catherine's do I bring to your grace.
Our master here spake of benevolence and said my 20 nobles was enough. I thought not so, but at your highness's feet, a widow's mite, a token of her zeal, in humble duty, gives you 20 pound.
Now by my crown, a gallant, lusty girl. Is thy name Norton?
Aye, my gracious lord.
How long hast thou been a widow?
At Troventide next even, just a dozen years.
In all which space couldst thou not find a man on whom thou mightst bestow thyself again?
I think not any worthy of a kiss.
No, widow? That I'll try. How like you this?
And for the same, oh sweet and lovely prince, see what the widow gives you from her store. 40 old angels, but for one kiss more.
John Hobbs, thou art a widower. Lackest thou such a wife?
I'll know St. Catherine's widows, if kisses be so dear.
Clubs and clouded shoes, there's none enamored here.
We must for France. We bid you all farewell. Come, Tanner, thou shalt with us to court, and afterward set homeward when you please. God and our right that only fights for us, adieu. Pray that our toil prove prosperous. Is this the aid our cousin Burgundy and the great constable of France assured us? But yet I see they come not to our aid. We'll bring them in, or by the blessed light, we'll search the ground sills of their city walls. Since you have brought me hither, I will make the proudest tower that stands in France to quake. I marvel Scales returns not, for by him I do expect to hear their resolutions.
My sovereign, she is happily returned.
Welcome, my lord. Welcome, good cousin Scales. What news from Burgundy? What, comes he to our succor as he promised?
Not by his good will, for aught that I can see. He lingers still in his long siege at Neuse. I urged his promise and your expectation, but still I found him earthly, unresolved. He would fain come, but may not leave the siege. He hopes he shall, but yet he knows not when.
But is he like to take the town of Neuse?
My lord, the town is liker to take him.
For what says Count St. Paul?
My lord, he lies and revels at St. Quentin's, and laughs at Edward's coming into France. There, domineering with his drunken crew, makes jigs of us, and in their slavering jests, tell how like rogues we lie here in the field.
If please your highness but to say the word, we'll pluck him out of Quentin's by the ears.
No, cousin Howard, we'll reserve our valor for better purpose. Since they both refuse us, ourselves will be unrivaled in our honor. Herald! Go, herald, and to Louis, the French king, denounce stern war, and tell him I am come to take possession of my realm of France. Defy him boldly from us. Be thy voice as fierce as thunder to affright his soul.
I go, my liege.
Sound drum, I say. Set forward with our power, and France, ere long, expect a dreadful hour.
Herald of England, we are pleased to hear what message thou hast brought us from thy king.
Right, gracious king, and most Christian king of France, I come not to thy presence unprepared to do the message of my royal liege. Edward IV of England and of France, the lawful king and lord of Ireland, whose puissance magnanimous breast incised through manifest notorious injuries, offered by thee, King Louis and thy French, against his title to the crown of France, with barbed horse and valiant armed foot, bids thee to battle, where and when thou darest.
Needless were all these thunder-threatening words. Let heaven, where all our thoughts are registered, bear record with what deep desire of peace we shall subscribe to such conditions. If Edward have sustained wrong in France, Louis was never author of that wrong. We are assured that his majestic thoughts in his mild spirit did never mean these wars, till Charles Burgundy, once our fawning friend, but now our open foe, and Count St. Paul, our subject once and constable of France, but now a traitor to our realm and us, were motives to incite him unto arms.
The king, my master, recks not Burgundy, and scorns St. Paul and treacherous constable, his puissance and sufficient in itself to conquer France like his progenitors.
We covet peace, and we will purchase it at any rate that reason can demand. And it is better England join in league with us, his strong old open enemy, than with those weak and new dissembling friends.
Dread lord, it is well known that Burgundy made show of tender service to your majesty, till by the engine of his flatteries he made a breach into your highness' love, by getting footing into many towns, castles, and forts belonging to your crown, that now he holds them against your realm and you.
And Count St. Paul, the constable of France, usurps the lands and seigneuries of those that are true subjects, noble peers of France.
We have to league with Edward and his English. We show thee not one discontented look, nor render him one misbeholden word. But his defiance and his dare to war, we swallow with the supple oil of peace. and we will post a herald after thee, that shall confirm thy speech and our designs.
So please it, your most and sacred majesty.
How think you, lords, is not more requisite to make our peace than war with England's power?
Yes, gracious lord, the wounds are bleeding yet that Talbot, Bedford, and King Henry made, which peace must cure, or France shall languish still.
Who shall be herald in these high affairs?
No better friend than Madame Mougeron.
If your sacred majesty command, your humble vassal Mougeron shall go.
Well, whither away so fast goes Burgundy?
Nay, rather whither goes the constable?
Why, to King Edward, man. Is he not come? Mean'st thou not likewise to go visit him?
Oh, excellent. I know that in thy soul thou knowest that I do purpose nothing less.
Aye, but thou knowest that Edward on our letters did make this purposed voyage into France, trusting that we will keep our word with him. Now, though we mean it not, yet we set a face upon the matter as though we intended to keep our word with him effectually.
My lingering siege at Neuss will serve the turn.
And I will keep me still here in St. Quentin's, pretending mighty matters for his aid. Well, keep I fair weather still with Burgundy, till matters fall out for my purpose fit.
Are ye so crafty, constable? My simple wit can never sound a judgment of such reach as is our cunning constable of France. Persuade thyself so still, and when time serves, and that thou art in most extremity, needing my help, then take thou heed of me.
Tell not me, Burgundy, 'tis I am wronged, and you have dealt like a disloyal knight.
Edward of England, these are unkingly words.
He that will do, my lord, what he should not, must and shall hear of me what he would not. I say again, you have deluded me.
Am I not come according to my word?
No, Charles of Burgundy, thy word was given to meet with me in April. Now 'tis August. The place appointed Calais, not Lorraine, and thy approach to be with martial troops, but thou art come, not having in thy train so much as page or lackey to attend thee. Summer is almost spent, yet nothing done, and all by dalliance with uncertain hope.
My forces lay before the city Neuss, from which I could not rise but with dishonor.
Smiles, Lady Scales.
My man reports, my lord, the composition that the Duke there made was mere compulsion, for the citizens drave him from thence perforce.
I thought so much. We should not yet have seen your excellence, but that your heels were better than your hands. Letting that pass, it shall be seen, my lord, that we are able of ourself to claim our right in France, without or your assistance or any others but the help of heaven.
I make no question of it. Yet the constable pressed with no such occasion as I was.
Accuse him not. Your cities, as we came, were even as much to be condemned as his. This is St. Quentin's, where you say, my lord, the constable is ready to receive us.
So much he signified to me by letter.
Fly to our main battle, bid them stand, there's treason plotted. Speak to me, Lady Scales. In which conspiracy, answer me, Duke. Is not thy soul as guilty as the Earl's?
Perish my soul, King Edward, if I knew of any such attention. Yet I did, and grieve that it hath sped no otherwise.
Howard and Sellinger, what, is there no hope of life in none of them?
The soldiers are both slain outright, my lord, but Lady Scales a little is recovered.
Convey her body to our pavilion, whilst we with all extremity of war go plague St. Quentin's. Howard, fetch on our powers. We will not stir a foot till we have shown just vengeance on the constable of France. But where's the Duke?
Gone, as it seems, my lord.
A pair of most dissembling hypocrites is he and this base earl, on whom I vow to spend the whole measure of my kindled rage. Their streets shall sweat with their effused blood, and this bright sun be darkened with the smoke of smoldering cinders when their city lies buried in ashes of revengeful fire. Lord Howard, have you done as I commanded?
Our battles are disposed, and on the brow of every inferior servitor, my lord, a flag of truce upon the walls was hanged, and forth the gates did issue meekly paced 3 men, whereof the constable is one, and the other 2 the gunner and his mates.
Bring forth the constable. The other 2, see them guarded safe till you know our pleasure. How is with Scales?
Well, my dread sovereign, now her wound is dressed. It's thought she shall not perish by this hurt.
I do not see how yet I can dispense with thy submission. This was not the welcome your letters sent to England promised me.
Right, high and mighty prince, condemn me not. The fault was in our gunner's ignorance, who, taking you for Louis, King of France, made that unlucky shot to beat him back.
Constable of France, we will not sell a drop of English blood for all the gold in France. But in so much 2 of our men are slain to quit their debts, those 2 that came with thee shall both be crammed into a cannon's mouth, and so be shot into the town again. It is not like, but that they knew our colors, and of set purpose did this villainy. Nor can I be persuaded thoroughly, but that our person was the mark they aimed at. Yet are we well content to hold you excused. Marry. Our soldiers must be satisfied.
Your Highness shall be answered presently, and I will see these articles performed.
Yet one thing more. I will that you, my lord, together with the Duke of Burgundy, do ere tomorrow noon bring all your force and join with ours, or else we do recant, and these conditions shall be frustrate.
A gentlewoman from the King of France, my lord, craves parlance with your excellence.
A gentleman, bring him in. What news of God's name from our brother Louis?
Most puissant and most honorable king, my royal master, Louis, the King of France, doth greet your highness with unfeigned love, and thus he says by me, when was it seen that ever Louis pretended to hurt to England, either by close conspirators sent over to undermine your state, or openly by taking arms with purpose to invade? But if it might seem gracious in your eye to cast off these despised confederates, and join in league with Louis, my royal master, him shall you find as willing as of power to do your grace all offices of love.
What say ye, lords, unto this proffered truce?
Wilt not be dishonor having landed, and not to fight before we do return?
How can it when the enemy submits and of himself makes tender of allegiance? Let him be bound, my lord, to pay your grace 75,000 crowns of the sun, and yearly after 50,000 more during your life, with homage therewithal.
It shall be so. Draw you the articles, and Sellinger, call forth the messenger. Friend, we do accept thy master's league. If he will meet us here betwixt our tents, it shall on both sides be confirmed by oath. King Louis is one that never was precise. But now, Lord Howard and Lady Sellinger, there is a task remains for you to do, and that is this. You 2 shall be disguised. And one of you repair to Burgundy, the other to the Constable of France, where you shall learn in secret, if you can, if they intend to meet us here tomorrow.
I am for Burgundy.
And I am for the Constable of France.
Make speed again. What news?
King of France, my lord, attended royally, is marching hitherward to meet your grace.
Go. Call forth our train. We may receive him with like majesty.
My princely brother, we are grieved much to think you have been at so great a charge. If you be pleased to entertain a peace, let us embrace. For as my life, I swear, I tender England and you happiness.
Like do I by you, and warlike France. But, princely brother, ere this knot be knit, there are some few conditions to be signed. Herald, repeat the articles.
First, it is covenanted that Louis, King of France, shall do homage to the King Edward as his sovereign and true heir of all dominions of France.
Will kingly Louis stoop to such a vassalage?
Secondly, it is coveted that Louis, King of France, shall pay unto Edward, King of England, 75,000 crowns of the sun. Thirdly, and lastly, it is coveted that Louis, King of France, shall yearly hereafter pay 50,000 crowns more.
Here is a peace indeed far worse than war.
Brother of France, are you resolved to do according as you hear the covenants drawn?
Brother of England, mount your royal throne, knowing your title to be lineal from the great Edward of that name the third, your predecessor. Thus I do resign, giving my crown and scepter to your hand.
The same do I deliver back again, with as large interest as you had before. This happy day, feast in our royal tent. English and French are one. So it is meant.
A peace concluded, sayest thou?
My lord, I assure you it is so.
And thou affirmst the like? Say, dost thou not?
I do, my lord, and that for certainty.
Well, fellow, for thy pains, take that. Leave me alone, for I am much displeased.
Now get thee gone, my friend, here. There's for thy pains, so leave me to myself.
I have found it now. The villain constable hath secretly with Edward thus compact to join our king and him in amity.
'Tis so, for it can no be otherwise. Burgundy hath been privy to this plot, conspired with Louis and the English king. Oh, hell and hot vengeance light on Burgundy for this his subtle secret villainy.
So, Salinger, we then perceive by thee the Duke is passing angry at our league.
Aye, my dread lord, beyond comparison.
What? And the constable too?
My sovereign, yes.
Here is a messenger from Burgundy.
Excellent, good. Admit him presently. And brother of France, let me entreat your grace to stand aside a little in my tent. So sure I am persuaded we shall find some notable piece of knavery set afoot. What? Is it you, my lord of Conte? Welcome! How doth the valiant Duke? In health, I hope?
In health, my lord of body, though in mind somewhat distempered that your grace hath joined in league with his professed enemy.
How say you that, my lord? Pray you, speak out, for I of late, by reason of a cold, am somewhat thick of hearing.
Your grace demanded if the Duke were well. I answer you, he is in health of body, though inwardly in mind somewhat perplexed that you, without his knowledge, have ta'en truce with childish Louis, that heartless king of France.
He takes unkindly? Why, if he had come with his expected forces as he promised, I had been still incapable of peace, but he deceiving me, the fault was his.
No, my good lord, the fault was not in him, but in that lewd pernicious counterfeit, that crafty fox, the constable of France. The Duke upon his honor bade me say, tell noble Edward if he will recant and fall from Louis again, knowing it is more for his dignity to be sole king and conquer France as did his ancestors, that I am ready with 12,000 soldiers and will deliver him the constable, that he may punish him as he sees good, but seat him in the throne imperial, which now another basely doth usurp.
Speak that again. I heard not your last words.
But seat you in the throne imperial, which now another basely doth usurp.
I thank his honor for his good regard, and you shall have our answer to the Duke. Lady Salinger, receive him to your tent. Now, my kingly brother, have you heard this news?
So plainly, my lord, that I scarce held myself from stepping forth hearing my royal name.
We shall have far better sport anon.
No more adieu, I'll to my place again.
Health to the victorious King of England.
His Majesty requests you to speak out, because his hearing is of late decayed.
The worthy Earl St. Paul greets noble Edward and gives your grace to understand by me that whereas Charles, that painted sepulchre, and most disloyal Duke of Burgundy, hath but usurped the habit of a friend. If it will please you to revoke from France, the Duke with expedition bid me say that he would put the Earl into your hands and seat you like a conqueror in France.
Well, I will think upon it. And you shall have our answer by and by. Cousin Howard, take him aside.
Here's vying of villainy. Who shall have all? But how intends your grace to deal with them?
Faith, in their kind, I am the steel you see, against the which their envy being stroke, the sparkles of hypocrisy fly forth.
My lord, here's letters to your majesty. One from the Duke of Burgundy, the other from the constable.
More villainy, 1,000 crowns to nothing. The very same, my lord, which they pretend in love to you against my life and crown, the same they undertake to do for me.
The way to cure them is to cut them off. Call forth their messengers once more to us.
What, is his Majesty of France so near?
How comes it that I see the French king here?
You told me that you came from early St. Paul. Is this his hand or no?
I cannot say but that it is his hand.
Comes it then that underneath his hand my death is sought, when you that are his mouth tune to our ears a quite contrary tale? The like read you deciphered in this paper concerning treacherous wavering Burgundy. How is it I should have their knightly aid, and yet by them be utterly destroyed?
And I to be protected by their means, and yet they shall conspire against my life?
My lord, upbraid not me with this offense. I do protest I knew of no such letters, nor any other intention of the Duke.
Well, they are messengers, and for that cause we are content to bear with their amiss, but keep them safe. And let not them return to carry tales into those counterfeits, until you have them both as fast ensnared, to compass which the better, brother of France. 5,000 of our soldiers here we leave, to be employed in service to that end. The rest with us to England shall return.
King Edward is returned home to England. Now do we draw the curtain of our scene to speak of Shore and his fair wife again. You must imagine, since you saw him last, prepared for travel, he hath been abroad. His and her fortunes shall we now pursue, graced with your gentle severance and view.
Ah, well met, fair lady, in the happiest time and choicest place that my desire could wish. Without offence, where have you been this way?
To take the air in St. George's Field, Sir Robert Brackenbury, and to visit some poor patients that cannot visit me.
A comfort-ministering, kind physician that once a week in her own person visits the prisoners and the poor in hospitals, where piteous heart will save many a tall man's life.
Peace, good Sir Robert, 'tis not worthy praise, for you know well, the world doth know too well, that all the coals of my poor charity cannot consume the scandal of my name.
Lady, there lies here prisoned in the Marshalsea a gentleman of good parents and good descent, my dear kinsman, my dear near kinsman, Captain Harry Strangwich, whose luck it was to take a prize of France, for which, except his pardon be obtained by some especial favourite of the king, he and his crew, a company of proper men, are sure to die, because 'twas since the league.
Let me see him and all his company.
Here, now, aye, cousin Harry, this is Mistress Shore, and if she cannot save thee, thou must die.
Oh, torment worse than death to see her face.
I pity him, and that same proper man that turned his back, ashamed of this distress.
Your credit, lady, may prolong their trial. What judge is he that will give you denial?
Fair lady, we did shed no drop of blood, nor cast one Frenchman overboard, and yet, because the league was made before the fact, which we poor seamen, God knows, never heard, my grief will be for these poor harmless men, chiefly that gentleman that stands sadly there, who on my soul was but a passenger.
Then courage, sirs. I'll use my fairest means to save your lives.
Believe, Mistress Shore. I will have taken pains to find you out. Come, you must go with me.
Whither, my lord?
Unto the queen, my mother.
Bring me not to her. She will slit my nose or mark my face or spurn me unto death.
Oh, hadst thou never broke thy vow to me, from fear and wrong I had defended thee.
Come away, minion. You shall prate no more.
Pray for me, friends, and I will pray for you.
For all the wrong that thou hast done to me, they should not hurt thee yet if I were free.
You see, cousin Strangwich, how the case is changed. She that could help thee cannot help herself.
What remedy? The God of heaven helps all, so like tall men together let us die.
Oh.
The best is if we die for this offense. Our ignorance shall plead our innocence.
Your meat is ready, Captain. You must in.
I left this land too little for my grief, returning and accounted as a thief. See what dishonor breach of wedlock brings, which is not safe in the arms of kings. Thus do I, Jane, lament thy present state, wishing my tears thy torments might abate.
Now, as I am queen, a goodly creature.
Madam, I found her at the Marshalsea, going to visit the poor prisoners.
Now, before God, she would make a gallant queen. God save your majesty, my lady Shore. My lady Shore, said I. Oh, blasphemy, what? You kneel there, King Edward's bedfellow, and I, your subject, sit. Fie, for shame. Come, take your place, and I'll kneel where you do. I may take your place, you have taken mine.
Great queen, yet hear me. If my sin committed might make revenge exceed extremity.
Spurn the whore, mother. Tear those enticing eyes. Let me come to her. You but stand and talk as if revenge consisted but in words.
Why, as I am, think that thou wert a queen. And I, as thou, should wrong thy princely bed, and win the king thy husband as thou mine. Would it not sting thy soul? Or if that I, being a queen, while thou didst love thy husband, should but have done as thou hast done to me, would it not grieve thee? Yes, I warrant thee. Now, in the absence of my lord the king, have I not time most fitting for revenge?
Even what you will, great queen. Here do I lie, humble and prostrate at your highness' feet.
Fetched I her for this? Let me come to her.
Touch her not, son. Upon thy life I charge thee, but keep off still, if thou wilt have my love. I am glad to hear ye are so well resolved to bear the burden of my just displeasure. Be of good comfort. Thou shalt not have no harm. Jane, I forgive thee. What fort is so strong, but with besieging he will batter it? Weep not, sweet Jane. Alas, I know thy sex. And if thy state had been as mean as thine, if my state had been as mean as thine, what might have happened to me, I cannot tell. Nay, fear not, for I speak it with my heart, and in thy sorrow truly bear a part.
Most high and mighty queen, may I believe there can be found such mercy in a wife so deeply wronged as I have wronged you?
Rise up, sweet Jane. I say thou shalt not kneel. Remember not my son's or hasty speech. Thou art my sister, and I love thee so. I know thou mayst do much with my dear lord.
What? Is my Jane with her? It is too true. See where she hath her down upon her knees. Come hither, love. What hath she done to thee?
Oh, royal Edward, love thy beauteous queen, the only perfect mirror of her kind. Let not my bewitching looks withdraw your dear affections from your dearer queen. Great king, let me beg of thee but one boon, that Shore's wife ne'er do her more injury.
Nay, then I'll beg against her, royal Edward. She shall endure for it. Oh, where my Edward loves, it ill beseems his queen to grudge thereat.
Sayest thou me so, Bess? On my kingly word, Edward will honor thee in thy heart for this. How now? What would our constable of the tower?
It is for Strandwich and his men at sea. Edward, needs must you pardon them.
Have I not vowed the contrary already?
Why, there is one who is but a passenger. Shall he die too?
My word is past. Not one of them shall live. One go, and see them forthwith sent to death.
I cannot see this prophecy you speak of should any way so much displease the king. And yet I promise you, good brother Clarence, 'tis such a letter as concerns us both. That G should put away King Edward's children and sit upon his throne. That G should. Well.
God bless the king and those two sweet young princes.
Oh, amen, good brother Clarence.
Amen.
And send them all to heaven shortly, I beseech him.
The king's much troubled in his sickness with it.
But Dr. Shaw, who prophesied that G should be so sadly ominous to us?
My lord of Gloucester, I received the same from old Friar Anselme of St. Bartholomew's.
A great learned man he was, and as I have heard, hath prophesied of very many things. I promise you, it troubles me. I hope in me his prophecy is true. We know not how his highness will apply it. Should the young princes fail, which, oh God defend, you, brother, first, and should your issue fail, poor I am next, the youngest of the three. Oh, but how far I am from a thought of that. Oh. Now, brother, this prophecy of G troubling the king, well, he may as well apply it unto Gloucester, my dukedom's name, if he be jealous, as unto George, your name, good brother Clarence.
It cannot choose. How innocent I am and how unspotted are my loyal thoughts.
But reverend doctor, you can only tell, being his highness confessor, how he takes it. Shaw, you know my mind, a villain like myself.
My lord of Clarence, I must tell your lordship, his highness is much troubled in his sickness with the same prophecy of G. Who is this G? Oft times he will demand, then he will sigh, and then he strikes his breast. I promise you, he lay so still, we all thought he had slept, when suddenly, George is the G, quoth he, and gave a groan, and turned his face away.
God, be my witness, witness with my soul. I stand so guiltless and so innocent.
Oh, brother Clarence, when you are suspected, well, it is a wicked world the while. I am your loving brother, your own self, and you shall see I'll do a brother's part. Send you to heaven, I hope, ere it be long.
Plead you mine innocence unto the king. I'll keep within mine house at Baynard's castle until I hear how my dread sovereign takes it. Farewell, good brother Gloucester.
My tears will scarcely let me take my leave. I love you so. Farewell, sweet George. So he is gone. Now, Shaw, 'Tis in thy power to bind me to thee everlastingly. And there is not one step that I shall rise, but I will draw thee with me unto greatness. Incense the king, now being as thou art so near about him and his confessor, that this G only is George, Duke of Clarence.
My lord, I am going by commandment unto the Marshalsea to Captain Strangridge, there to confess him and his company. That done, I'll come with speed back to the king, and make no doubt but I'll effect the thing.
Farewell, gentle doctor. The mark thou aim'st at, Richard, is a crown, and many stand betwixt thee and the same. Ha! What of all that? Doctor, play thou part. I'll climb up by degrees, though many a heart.
Why, Master Vaux, is there no remedy? But instantly they must be led to death? Can it not be deferred till afternoon?
Master Lieutenant, 'tis in vain to speak. The king's incensed and will not pardon them. Besides, the Duke of Exeter found dead and naked, floating up and down the sea, twixt Calais and our coast, is laid to them.
Stay them yet but an hour.
I dare not do it. Sir Robert Brackenbury, you are lieutenant of the Tower yourself, and know the peril of protracting time.
Oh, poor Strangridge, must thou die?
Good cousin Brackenbury, he is well content to see me die as I to suffer death. Ah, Master Flood, 1,000 floods of woe o'erflow my soul, that thou must perish so.
Good captain, let no perturbation hinder our passage to a better world.
Well, Matthew Flood, for so thou call'st thyself, finish a good course, as thou hast begun, and clear thy conscience by confession.
Oh, so I do, and pray the world forgive what wrong I did whilst I therein did live. And now I pray you turn your pains to them, and leave me private for a little space to meditate upon my parting hence.
Do, gentle Flood, and we will pray for thee.
Pray not for Flood, but pray for Matthew Shore, for Shore covered with the cloak of Flood. If I have sinned in changing of my name, forgive me, God, 'twas done to hide my shame, and I forgive the world, King Edward first, that wrecked my state, by winning of my wife. And though he would not pardon trespass small in these, in me, God knows no fault at all. Jane, God forgive thee, even as I forgive. Now, when you will, I am prepared to go.
A pardon! A pardon! The king's pardon! Here, Master Vaux. King Edward greets ye well. His gracious pardon frees this gentleman and all his company from shameful death.
Lady, the last but not the least in debt to your devotion I owe you for my cousin's life.
Thanks, good Master Lieutenant of the Tower. Pray ye commend me to my noble friend, the Duke of Clarence, now your prisoner. Bid him not doubt the king's displeasures past. I hope to gain him favor and release.
My patron Gloucester will cross it if he can.
Where's Mistress Shore? Lady, I come in post. The king hath had a very dangerous fit since you came from him. Twice his majesty has swounded, and with much ado revived. He calls for you. Haste unto his grace, or else I fear you'll never see his face.
If Edward die, confounded is my state. I'll haste unto him, and will spend my blood to save his life or do him any good.
And so would I for thee, hadst thou been true. But if he die, bid all thy pomp adieu.
Leave me, but I do not like these news of the king's dangerous sickness.
No, nor I. If the king die, the state will soon be changed. Master Lieutenant, you'll to the Tower. I'll take my leave. Gallants, goodbye all.
You shall be a guest, my guest for a night or two, cousin, till your own lodging be prepared. But tell me, sir, what means has Master Flood? I'll entertain you gladly at the Tower, and give thee means to live in some good sort.
Thank you, sir. God grant I may deserve it.
Well, Cousin and all your crew, come home with me, where after sorrow we may merry be.
Well met, my good Lady Lovell.
Whither way so fast goes Dr. Shaw?
Why, to the tower to shrive the Duke of Clarence, who, as I hear, is fallen so grievous sick, as it is thought he can by no means scape.
He neither can nor shall, I warrant thee.
I hope, my lord, he is not dead already.
But I hope, sir, he is. I'm sure I saw him dead of the fly's death, drowned in a butt of Malmsey.
Doubtless he would never misdo himself.
Oh, that thou knowest right well. He had some helpers. Thy hand was in it with thy Duke of Gloucester's, as smoothly as thou seekest to cover it.
No foul words, my lord. No more of that. The world knows nothing. Then what should I fear? Oh, give the doctor then a little leave, so that he gain preferment with a king.
A king? A king?
Why, Richard, man. Who else?
Why is not Edward living? Hath he not children?
Why, man, lining for beds, a knife or so.
Nay, then, I see if Edward were deceased, which way the game would go.
So I have honor, let me swim through blood. My lord be but at Paul's Cross on Sunday next. I hope I have it here, shall soundly prove King Edward's children not legitimate.
A staff, 1,000 crowns for a staff.
A staff, Sir William Catesby?
Why, man, a white staff for my Lord Protector.
Why is King Edward dead?
Dead, love, aye, dead. And Richard, our good lord, is made protector of the sweet young prince.
Now do I smell 2 bishoprics at least. My sermon shall be peppered sound for this.
Why, how now, Mistress Shore?
I blame her not. Her chiefest stay is gone, the only staff she had to lean upon.
Aye, my Lady Lovell, they are true indeed. Royal King Edward now hath breathed his last. The Queen turned out and every friend put by. Now none admitted, but whom Richard pleased.
Why, doubtless Richard will be kind to you.
My Lady Lovell, God bless me from his kindness. No sooner was the white staff in his hand, but finding me and the right woeful Queen sadly bemoaning such a mighty loss, here is no state, quoth he. You must be gone, we have other matters now to think on.
Well, Mistress Shore, it's likely to be a busy time. Shift for yourself. Come, lads, let us be gone.
First let me die, ere do I put my trust in any fleeting spaniel of you all.
Come hither, Flood. Let me hear thy opinion. I have received letters from the Duke, Gloucester, I mean, protector of the land, who gives in charge the tower be prepared this night to entertain the 2 young princes. It is my duty to obey, I know, but, manifold suspicion troubles me.
He is their uncle, sir, and in that sense, nature should warrant their security. Besides, you are a lieutenant to the tower. Say there should be any hurt pretended. The privilege of your authority pries into every corner of this house, and what can then be done without your knowledge?
Thou sayest true, Flood. Thou sayest true. Though Richard be protector, when once they are within the tower limits, the charge of them belongs to me. But now no more. Oh, it seems they are at hand.
Sir, we are come to be your guests tonight. I pray you tell me, did you ever know our father Edward lodged within this place?
Oh, well, never to lodge, my liege, but oftentimes on other occasions I have seen him here.
Brother, last night when you did send for me, my mother told me, hearing we should lodge within this tower, that it was a prison.
My gentle nephew, they were ill-advised. What if some part of it hath been reserved to be a prison for nobility? The building stately, and for strength beside, it is the safest and the surest hold you have.
Uncle of Gloucester, if you think it so, we must allow it, and are well content. Come, brother, shall we go?
Yes, brother, anywhere with you.
Sir, were it best I did attend the Duke, or stay his leisure till his back return?
I pray, Master Terrell, stay without. Here comes the Duke.
My name is Tyrrell, is it not?
James Tyrrell is my name, my gracious lord.
Welcome. It should appear that thou hast been in better state than now it seems thou art. Be ruled by me, and then thou shalt rise again. But canst thou too be secret?
This tongue was never known to be a blab.
Thy countenance hath, like a silver key, opened the closet of my heart. Read here. If scholar like thou canst expound those lines, thou art the man ordained to serve my turn.
The sense, my lord, is this. This night you say the two young princes both must suffer death. It shall be done.
Enough. Come follow me.
Now, gentle Mistress Blade, my only friend, oh, smile on me and give me gentle looks. If I be welcome, then with cheerful heart and willing hand, show me true signs thereof.
Doubt ye welcome, lady, to your friend. Use me, command me, call my house your own.
Away with titles, lay by courtly terms. The case is altered now, the king is dead.
I loved you then, and since, and ever shall. You, when my husband's lewd transgression of all our wealth had lost possession by forfeiture into his highness' hands, got restitution of our goods and lands. You are and shall be my best beloved friend.
Mistress Blade, you tender me such love as all my sorrows from my soul remove.
And I thank you that so my wealth increased. Let us into supper, drink wine, cheer your heart, and whilst I live, be sure I'll take your part.
Sir, I assure you, 'tis my Lord Protector's warrant.
My friend, I have conferred it with his letters, and 'tis his hand indeed, I'll not deny. Nor will I ask him why he does it. Oh, here. Here's the keys.
Not like their looks, I tell you true.
What? Not like our looks?
Here, we can hear you.
I never saw three faces in whose looks did ever sit more terror or more death.
Stab the villain. Shira, do you brave us?
Aye, that's your coming, for you come to stab.
It's blood. Cut his throat.
Hold, gentlemen, I pray you!
Sir, I am hurt, stabbed in the arm.
This is not justified, my friends. To draw your weapons here within the tower, and by the law it is no less than death. I pray you be content. Too much is done.
He might have held his peace then, and been quiet. Farewell. Farewell.
Hell and damnation follow murderers.
Go, Flood. Get thee to some surgeon to look to thy wound. Whither wilt thou go that I may send to these?
To one Mistress Blage's, an inn in Gracious Street.
Oh, sweet princely babes, farewell. I fear for you sore. I doubt these eyes shall never see you more.
How does your lordship?
Well, good brother Richard, how does yourself? You told me your head ached.
Indeed it does, my lord. Feel with your hands how hot it is.
Indeed, you have caught cold with sitting yesternight to hear me read. I pray thee, go to bed, sweet Dick, poor little heart.
O Lord, methinks this going to our bed is how like it is going to our grave.
Pray thee, do not speak of graves, sweetheart. Indeed, thou frightest me. We should do as every Christian ought, to be prepared to die at every hour, and let us say our prayers and go to bed.
Go lay ye down, but never more to rise. I have put my hand into the foulest murder that ever was committed since the world. The very night is frighted, and the stars do drop like torches to behold this deed. The very center of the earth doth shake. Methinks the tower should rent down from the top.
Stand further, damned rogue, and come not near me.
Nay, stand out further, villain. Stand aside.
We not both damned for this cursed deed.
It is too true. Oh, I am damned indeed. The priest here in the tower will bury them. Let us away.
So set you here a while, where is more air. How cheer you, sir? Alack, he doth begin to change his colour. Where is Mistress Shore? Be of good comfort. Come, good Mistress Shore. What have you there?
This balm will staunch it by the help of God. Lift his arm whilst I do bathe his wound.
How fare you, sir? How do you feel yourself?
Wherefore have you waked me from my sleep? I thought I sat in such a pleasant place. If you had let me go, I felt no pain, but being now revoked, my grief renews.
Good sooth, Mistress Shore. I did not think till now you had been such a cunning, skilled physician.
Oh, Mistress Blage, though I must needs confess it would have been more welcome to my soul if I had died and been removed at last. Yet I do thank you for your taken pains.
Sir, I did you little good. What was done, ascribe the benefit and praise thereof unto this gentlewoman, kind Mistress Shore, who next to God preserved your feeble life.
Oh, is it she that still prolongs my woe? Was it ordained that not only at first she should be my destruction, but now twice? Let she, and none but she, prevent that good and stop my entrance to eternal bliss.
By your leave, Mistress Blage, I am somewhat bold. Is there not a gentleman within your house called Master Flood, came hither hurt last night?
Is his name Flood? I knew it not till now, but here he is, and well recovered, thanks to this gentlewoman, Mistress Shore.
Pardon me, Mistress Shore, I saw you not. I promise you the world laments your case.
How mean you, sir? I understand you not.
You have not seen the proclamation, then?
The proclamation? No. What proclamation?
On pain of death that none shall harbor you, or give you food or clothes to keep you warm. You shall be then thrust forth the city gates. I pray ye, Mistress Blage, have care of Flood, and what his charges I will see you paid.
Sweet Mistress Blage, there upon the earth no comfort left for miserable Jane, but that I do presume upon your love, I should have succor and relief beside.
What? And so I should be a traitor, should I? I thank you truly. No, there's no such matter. I love you well, but love myself better. I would to God you would depart my house.
When was it ever Jane Shore was false, either unto her country or her king?
Aye, but you have been a wicked liver, and now you see what 'tis to be unchaste.
Time was that you did tell me otherwise, and studied how to set a gloss on that which now you say is ugly and deformed.
I told you then, as then the time did serve.
Let me find favor, if it be but this, that in some barn or stable I may shroud till otherwise I be provided for.
I will not have my house endangered so.
Yet let me have those jewels and that money which is within my trunks.
I know of none.
Jane, I cannot choose but pity thee. It is the first step to thy deep misery.
How now, what are you? It had been manners you should have knocked before you had come in.
I am the bishop's parator, my friend, and Mistress Shore, my errand is to you. You must be stripped out of your rich attire, and in a white sheet go from Temple Bar until you come to Aldgate, barefooted. Therefore, go with me.
So now her jewels and her gold is mine, wealthier by this match than I was before.
Attach this rebel to his majesty. Turn her out of doors with this condition, that no man harbor her that durst presume to harbor that lewd courtesan Shore's wife against the straight commandment of the king.
I beseech you, sir.
Away with her, I say, the while I'll seize upon her house and goods, which wholly are confiscate to the king.
Miss Pageant were sufficient to instruct and teach me ever after to be wise. The sparks of old affection long ago raked up in ashes of displeasure kindle, and in the furnace of adversity, the world shall see a husband's loyalty.
Now, Mistress Shore, here my commission ends. Put off your robe of shame, for this is Aldgate. Whither it was appointed I should bring you.
My robe of shame, but not my shame put off, for that sits branded on my forehead still, and therefore, in derision, I was wrapped in this white sheet, and bore in derision this burning taper to express my folly. What now avails to think what I have been? Birds of the air do fly unto their dams, and underneath their wings are quickly shrouded. But I have neither where to shroud myself, nor anyone to make my moan to. Let heart's deep throbbing sighs be all my bread, and drink salt tears, and my guests' repentant thoughts.
I have given over my office in the tower, because I cannot brook their vile complots. But Mistress Shore, to be so basely wronged and vilely used that hath so well deserved it doth afflict me in the very soul. These holy meditations, Mistress Shore, will yield much comfort in this misery.
Master Lieutenant, in my heart I thank you for this kind comfort to my wretched soul. Welcome, sweet prayer book, food of my life. Thou shalt be my soul's pleasure and only delight.
Do so, good Mistress Shore. Now I must leave thee. And God, I pray, regard your penitence.
Yonder she sits. Now then, ere show thyself, thankful to her that sometime saved thy life. Stand by a while, for fear thou be discovered.
What? Mistress Shore, King Edward's concubine, set on a molehill? Oh, disparagement! A throne were fitter for your ladyship. Where is your gown of silk? Your periwigs, your fine rebatos, and your costly jewels? What? Not a word? Faith, wench, I'll tell thee what. If thou dost think thy old trade out of date, go learn to play the bard another while.
Inhumane wretch! Why dost thou scorn her so and vex her grieved soul with bitter taunts?
Because I will. She is a courtesan and one abhorred of the world for lust.
If all thy faults were in thy forehead writ, perhaps thou wouldst thyself appear no less, but much more horrible than she doth now.
You are no judge of mine, sir.
Why, no, nor thou of her.
The world hath judged and found her guilty, and 'tis the king's command she be held odious. Now, I bethink me I'll go to the king and tell him that some will relieve Shore's wife. So shall I still purpose Shore's wife with hate that scorned me in her high whore's estate.
Mistress, take that and spend it for my sake.
Under she sits, how like a withered tree that is in the winter leafless and bereft. How much unlike the woman is she now she was but yesterday, so short and brittle. Here, Mistress Shore, feed on these homely cates, and there is wine to drink them down withal.
Good sir, your name? That pities poor Jane Shore, that I may in my prayers remember you.
No matter for my name, I am a friend that loves you well. So farewell, Mistress Shore. When that is spent, I vow to bring you more.
God's blessing be your guide where'er you go.
Alack, poor Jane, how I compassionate thy woeful case.
This is King Richard's hand, I know it well, and this of thine is justly counterfeit.
A king's hand, counterfeit, list more of that.
Now may I use my transportation of corn and hides, and so I would have done in King Edward's days, but that good Mistress Shore did please to cross me. But mark, how now I will requite her for it. I moved my suit, and plainly told the king some would relieve her if no man had charge to see severely to the contrary. Forthwith, his grace appointed me the man, and gave me officers to wait upon me.
It will do well indeed. But, good sir, have a care in any case, or else you know what harm will come thereon.
A care, sayest thou? Why, friend, I will not trust my house, my strongest locks, nor any place but mine own bosom. There will I keep it still. Thou mayst be gone. I must about my charge to see that none relieve Shore's wife with aught. Come on, good fellows, you that must attend King Richard's service under my command. Your charge is to be very vigilant over that strumpet whom they call Shore's wife. By good King Richard's proclamation, this is her haunt. Here stand I sentinel. Keep you unseen and aid me when I call.
Oh, yonder sits the sweet forsaken soul. She saved my life, and ere helped to save hers.
Whither go ye, sir? You come to give the strumpet some relief?
She did more good than ever thou canst do.
Lay hold on him. Attach him, officers.
Is he a traitor for doing good? God save the king. A true heart means no ill. Poor woman, take that purse.
I'll take it away.
You shall not, sir, for I will answer it. Before the king, if you enforce it so.
It must be so. You shall unto the king.
If grief to speech free passage could afford, with words and tears I would bewail the time, but it is bootless. Why live I to see all these despised that do pity me, despised, alas, destroyed, and led to death that gave me alms here to prolong my breath?
Now, tell us, Rufford, which of these it is that in the heat of this upheaved spleen condemns our crown, disdains our dignity, and arms himself against authority?
Both have offended my dread sovereign.
Which is that heir?
This young man, my liege.
Relievest thou Shore's wife in contempt of us?
No, but her just desert. She saved my life, which I had forfeited.
And thou shalt pay it in the self-same place. Your good devotion brings you to the gallows. He hath his sentence, Rufford. See him hanged.
Here's Matthew Flood.
Is thy name Flood?
So Master Rufford says.
Flood and air. The elements conspire. Didst thou relieve that hateful wretch, Shore's wife?
I did relieve that woeful wretch, Shore's wife.
Dost thou infringe our proclamation?
I did not break it.
Yes, and added more.
And added more. You would repent the thing.
Who, I? His Highness knows my innocence.
What canst thou say, Flood, why thou shouldst not die?
Nothing. For I am mortal and must die when my time comes, but I think's not yet. Now say I this, that I do know the man, which doth abet that traitorous libeller, who did compose and spread that slanderous rhyme, which scandals you and doth abuse the time.
What libeller? Another Collingborn, that wrote, "The cat, the rat, and Lovell our dog, do rule all England under a hog." Canst thou repeat it, Flood?
I think I can, if you command me so.
We do command thee.
In this sort it goes. The crook-backed boar the way hath found to root our roses from the ground. Both flower and bud will he confound, till king of beasts the swine be crowned. And then the dog, the cat, and rat shall in his trough feed and be fat. Beanies. Quoth Master Fogg, chief secretary and counsellor, to Master Rufford.
How sayst thou, Flood? Doth Rufford foster this?
I foster it? Dread lord, I ask no grace if I be guilty of this libeling. Vouchsafe me justice, as you are my prince.
What justice cravest thou? I will combat thee. In sign whereof I do, unbutton me. Thou call'st me traitor. I will prove thee one. Open thy bosom like me, if thou darest.
I will not be so rude before.
I will not ope the pack of thy disgrace, because thy doublet's stuffed with traitorous libels.
Catesby, tear off the buttons from his breast.
Ah!
What find'st thou there?
And your highness hand and seal for transportation of hides, corn, and lead.
Traitor, did I sign that commission?
Oh, pardon me, most royal king.
Pardon? To counterfeit my hand and seal? Have I bestowed such love such countenance, such trust on thee, and such authority to have my hand in signet counterfeit? Away with him, Lovell and Catesby. Go command the sheriffs of London presently to see him hanged, drawn, and quartered. I tell thee, Flood, thou art a traitor breaking our edict, by succoring that traitress queen, Shore's wife, and thou shalt die.
If I have broke the law.
If, traitor, didst thou not give her thy purse, and dost thou not maintain the deed?
I do, if it be death to the relenting heart of a kind husband, wronged by a king. If it be treason for her husband, then to bury his own wrong and her misdeed, then Shore must die, for Flood is not my name. Pity permits not injured Shore pass by.
Shore, we confess that thou hast privilege and art accepted in our proclamation, because thou art her husband whom it concerns, and thou mayest lawfully relieve thy wife upon condition thou forgive her fault. Except thou take her home again to thee, thou art a stranger, and it shall not be.
I never can forget so great a wrong.
Then never feed her whomst thou canst not love. Shore hath his pardon for this first offense. The name of husband pleads his innocence.
Mistress Shore, grieve me not with your tears, but let me go in quiet to mine end.
Oh, master heir, the time hath been ere now when I have kneeled to Edward on my knees, and begged for him that now doth make me beg. I have saved the life of many a man condemned, but never was the death of man before.
Come, sir, dispatch.
In heaven we'll meet again. In earth, no more.
World, what art thou? Man, even from his birth, finds nothing else but misery on earth. Do but this kindness to poor wretched souls, and let us have the burial of our friend. It is but so much labor saved for you.
What's he that begs the burial of my friend, and hath so oftentimes relieved me?
Jane, now there is none but thou and I. Look on me well, knowst thou thy master Shore?
My husband, then break heart and live no more.
Oh, my dear Jane, comfort thy heavy soul. Go not away so soon, a little stay, a little while, that thou and I, like man and wife, may here together die. Jane, be content, our woes are now alike. With one self-rod, thou ceased God doth us strike. If for thy sin, I'll pray to heaven for thee, and if for mine, do thou as much for me.
Oh, Shore, is it possible thou canst forgive me?
Yes, Jane, I do. As at God's hand, I hope to be forgiven.
Then God reward thee, for now we must part. I feel cold death to seize upon my heart.
He has come to me. Here he lies, I feel him ready to close up mine eyes. Give me thy hand, lest we embrace our grave.
Thou grave which only should part faithful friends brings us together and disjoined our hands. Yet ere I go, once Matthew kiss thy wife.
Now, tyrant Richard, do the worst thou canst. A king had all my joy that her enjoyed, and by a king again she was destroyed. All ages of my kingly woes shall tell, once more in constant word. Farewell, farewell.
Most noble lords, since it hath pleased you beyond our expectation on your bounties to impale my temples with the diadem, how far my quiet thoughts have ever been from this great majestic sovereignty, heaven best can witness. I am your king, but I will be a servant to you all. Thus must thou, Richard, seem as a saint to men in outward show, being a devil in thy very heart.
My sovereign, by the general consent of all the lords and commons of the land, I tender to your royal majesty this princely lady, the Lady Anne of Warwick, to be your highness bride, fair England's queen.
Welcome, fair queen.
And from the lords and commons of your land, I give the free and voluntary oath of their allegiance to your majesty.
I do accept it, Catesby, and return exchange of mutual and party love. Now, Fog, too, that in your traitorous libels, besides the counterfeiting of our hand and seal for Rufford, though so great a fault deserve to suffer death, as he already hath, going about to slubber our renown, yet, Fog, that thou thyself mayst plainly see how far I am from seeking sharp revenge, Fog, I forgive thee. And withal we do repeal our heavy sentence against Shore's wife, restoring all her goods.
Why, my good lord, you know she's dead already.
True, Catesby, else I ne'er had spoke such words. Alas, I see our kindness comes too late. For Catesby tells me she is dead already.
Aye, my good lord, so was her husband too.
Oh, would they had lived to see our friendly change. But Catesby say, where died Shore and his wife?
The people for love they bear to her and her kind husband, pitying his wrongs, forever after mean to call the ditch Shore's ditch, as in the memory of them.
And now, my lords, I give you all to know, I do ordain an order of the bath shall be observed in all royal pomp.
Now, am I bold to put your grace in mind of my long suit, and partly your own promise, the Earl of Hereford's lands?
Cousin will better think on that hereafter.
My pains, my lord, hath not deserved delay.
Move on us no more, you were best.
Aye. Richard, is it come to this? In my first suit of all, dost thou deny me? Break thou thine word and turn me off so slightly? Richard, thou hadst as good as damned thy soul as basely thus to deal with Buckingham. And Harry Richmond, this hand alone shall fetch thee home and seat thee in his throne.
What, is he gone in heat? Why, farewell, he. We have no time to think on angry men. Come, my sweet queen, let us go solemnize our knighthood's order in most royal wise.
Was a monde that was so fair, and cause for sorrows to declare, then let Jane Shore with his sorrow sing, that was beloved of our king.
All right, that was Thomas Heywood's Edward IV, Part 1 and 2. Thank you so much for tuning in. We're now going to take a few minutes to have a Q&A with our cast. So if you have questions, please put them in the YouTube chat. I'll be checking for those questions. In the meantime, Claire, would you like to get the Q&A launched?
Yes. So I suppose for the cast, one of the most obvious questions to start off with is, how does this history play differ from other history plays? How does Heywood linguistically and plot-wise feel different from Shakespeare? Either one of those perspectives from anybody?
It has some nice people in it.
Yeah, and the London thing is really fun. It's just like all of these people from London. Some of them are cool.
Grocers and bakers and goldsmiths, just like
yeah, a lot of common people.
He also spends a lot more time with a major female character than Shakespeare does in, I think, any of the histories. Like Jane is a full-fledged character in a way that not that many other female characters are.
There's almost some Bechdel conversations, not quite, but almost.
I was
Feel about a
thinking about
man.
that. Yeah, I was listening to one of them going, if only they weren't talking about a man in this conversation. Anything about rehearsing with the language or working with the script that anybody had any reaction to? I mean, you've all spent so much time with Shakespeare. Did this one strike you in any particular way stylistically?
Yeah, just for my bit. I mean, for my parts, the language, it might just be your cutting, but the language was less convoluted with Heywood than much of Shakespeare's is. It was easier to get the meaning of what you're saying really with the first read than often it is with a lot of Shakespeare's text. I don't know if that was other people's experience, but it certainly was mine.
I found some places the language was a little jarring. Like I was expecting more sentence and then I ran out, or vice versa. It was a little.
Yeah,
I found myself
John,
halting in places that were not meant for halting, just because I thought that's where the thought stopped, and it wasn't really.
John, I agree with you. I feel like there's times where the syntax of some of these sentences just gets inverted, but not in a way that actually clarifies thoughts, and not in a way that is how in Shakespeare I feel like it's usually structurally designed so that the thought either becomes more clear or is more directly contrasted with something else, and that's not always going on here. And I don't know if that is the cut or if that is just the guy.
There's a structural thing that's a little bit like another two-parter that we have lots of experience with the Henry IVs, which is that they're similar. The two parts are similar structurally. There's a whole ripoff thing where these two traitorous guys who are both trying to betray each other and get exposed. That little plot device is dropped into both parts.
Yeah, Ian's point actually is a nice segue to one of the questions from the audience, which was for reflections on working on a two-part play in this reading series, and then how you felt the two parts talked to each other.
I didn't think of them in two parts, really. It barely registered on my consciousness. It just two-act play in my head.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just say I didn't really have a lot because I didn't have characters that overlapped between the two different plays, So I was sort of like Ned Spicing in the beginning, and then a couple other dudes in the later, and so I'm just and they don't really relate to each other. None of them talk to each other or see each other or know of each other. Right. So my personal experience, that was pretty difficult to track all that.
Now, we talked a little bit in the rehearsals I was observing about how in part one, it's very much, it's like this domestic comedy as Edward goes around flirting with various women. And then you start part two and all of a sudden you're in a war with France, and it's a little bit of a whiplash. And then of course, Edward dies, 40% of the way through?
Yeah, he kicks it pretty early.
So it's interesting to think of the how the structure is working that way, because there are some major tonal shifts.
I'm thinking of one of the elements of good horror, and not that that's necessarily horror, is the audience knows what's coming and is afraid for it to happen. And I feel like there's an element of that a production could layer in with Edward's death and the ascension of Richard III. That the text doesn't really give that to you, but I think it just may have been assumed for its target audience. Of course they know what's happening. They know where this is going. It'd be a fun thing to play with.
I mean, something
that whole little bit, as somebody who plays Clarence, and he gets one scene, and then there you are in the tower talking about the people who are in the tower, and they're like, oh yeah, Clarence is here too, but he'll probably be okay. Jane Shore will plead for him, and yeah, probably not if Gloucester has anything to do with it. That doesn't get a scene in this play the way it does in Shakespeare's Richard III, a whole long scene about Clarence's death. But I think people would feel that dread, you know, like knowing that Clarence is in the tower, and then later somebody comes on and is like, oh yeah, he totally drowned in a butt of Malmsey.
Well,
just a Malmsey butt on stage from the very top of show.
Chekhov's Malmsey butt. So yeah, and that brings up that point about the way these plays are in conversation and how it almost feels like theater companies of the time were relying on the repertory of sort of audience shared knowledge. It wasn't just a repertory of one company, but you also had in that the repertory that other companies in London were performing at the same time that you could possibly reference. And with that, Claire, I know this sort of came at rehearsal as well, but they're asking YouTube about relative dating between this play and Shakespeare and other people, whoever, you know, wrote the Henry VI plays and then Shakespeare's Richard III, how those dates all related to each other.
They're all kind of in this little cluster in that late 1590s. This one was registered in 1599, and so it's like right about Richard III. So they're all kind of playing in conversation with each other. And again, if they're playing before they're published, then there's this weird mishmash going on between those conversations that are happening, where in Shakespeare, all you have to say is Mistress Shore, and people would probably know who that is. You don't really have to, because if you want to see a play about Mistress Shore, it's down the road at the war said, you know, that kind of situation.
Yeah, you can imagine an audience, if an audience was so lucky to see Richard III and then see this play afterwards, you know, it's like, oh, Dr. Shaw doing naughty stuff, you know, a little prequel action.
Yeah, and it works in both directions, as I think like Gary and Ian were pointing out. Like this play references things that are fully staged in Richard III, and then Richard III references people, characters, and events that aren't staged in this play, in that play, but are staged in this. Like we get to meet Forrest and Dighton, and moments like that, which I think is really fun. Yeah,
and the whole mystery of G. Yeah, the whole business.
Yes. Yeah. Brought up. On that note, we also had a question from the audience about your favorite moments in these plays.
Whenever I was on stage, I would say.
Coincidence, me too, Bob.
I like our first little taste of Gary as Richard III. That was just giving me a big smile.
I really enjoyed when the king kept dressing up in costumes and flirting with random women.
Yeah.
I kind of did too, partially as Gary and partially as future Richard, who is watching like this like horn dog of a brother and being like, see, I'm right. He's not that great. Like this is a fallible man and I should be king.
Well, it's also like if you're a naive audience member, like coming to see Richard III and you're like, oh, he's gonna accuse the king's kids of being bastards? Like, where's that coming from? You watch, oh, well, of course he could do that. Like anybody would believe that about this guy.
This goes back to the Richard III Shakespeare I'm thinking about. That one also doesn't show the murder of the two princes. It's only talked about. And this one gets close, and I wonder if an audience is like, oh my God, are we going to see them smothered or whatever? But this one kind of just skips it too, although it has, I think, a really cool moment with Forrest and Dighton in Tyrrell there. But, you know, I wonder if an audience is wondering if they're going to get that as they watch it.
And then it's gonna be interesting, right? Next Monday night, when we host the reading of True Tragedy of Richard III, to see how the moment is handled there, and see like how many different versions of these stories were happening on the early modern stage is something that really fascinates me.
I have to say, one of my favorite interactions in just watching it, the contrast between seeing it in performance and working with the script, is how well the Hobbs scenes play. And we're looking at them on the page. It was sort of like, oh, we're going to have to contextualize the heck out of this thing, because it doesn't necessarily, it doesn't come naturally as a thing that would be a part of this story, but you get into the middle of the scene and it plays really well. It's really fun to watch.
And if audience reactions were like, no, no, then that tells you that it's engaging and that people see what's coming. I like the sort of almost delicate way in which the stuff that's not Jane Shore's handled, where he, like, you know, he kisses a random widow and he, you know, says, I wish I were your son-in-law, but like nothing further happens on stage. It just indicates who Edward is, but without having to like sort of give us like a little conveyor belt of beds like going across the stage or something, you know.
I also think it's just like a fun game of like acting, that you have an actor who's like low class pretending to be a king, who then pretends to be, you know, this other guy. And there's something about that I think is really fun.
Yeah, those scenes did not read immediately on the page as like, oh, we'll be able to make this crystal clear. But I think Josh and I had a lot of fun with them, and that's really the kind of, when you get invested like that, I think the meaning comes through no matter what.
I know we definitely had a very active YouTube comments during this reading, so I think the audience was really into it and enjoying it and following along. And there's also a lot of commenting and questions about what Heywood's doing with the history that went back and forth, and then it came up again for the Q&A. So Claire, I don't know if you want to bring up a couple things about just how much stuff was Heywood completely inventing.
Well, quite a lot of it. I mean, the historical figures are there as sort of pegs on the board, but a lot of what a lot of the Jane Shore story is sort of fictionalized. He's grafting Elizabethan concerns and characters like the Henry Strangewych character, who was an Elizabethan privateer and got saved by a pardon from the Queen at the last moment. He sort of throws that in there as this thing that would, oh, I know what that is. That's like when what's his name got saved. So, and then time-wise, we're jumping around quite a bit. We start in like 1464 when he's getting married, and then we just jump like 5 years to the Falconbridge issue. And then he went to France, I believe, the year before he actually started a bona fide liaison. I mean, depending on how much we actually know about it. So there's a lot of juggling, and there's a lot of pulling from things that audiences are already familiar with, and just sort of making his own version of it, but hitting all the bullet points along the way.
And then finally, we had a question from audience member just wondering, who had a great time watching you all, wondering, you know, how they can keep up with what you might be doing next. I guess either other sorts of art forms you might be taking part in, or when we finally get to return to the theaters. So if any of you would like to share a little bit about yourself and ways audience members can find you, feel free.
I will be going on Sunday from having spent a whole year working on Shakespeare and then this to playing a spider in a silly little play on Zoom. So, you know, just run the gamut of acting. I think it'd be at wvplayhouse.com. I don't have any information. It's the theater I used to work with in LA. And now we're online, so I can be there while not being there.
Charlene and Bob and Claire and I all went to grad school together. And there are other theater companies that are also in
Solomon
that.
too.
Sorry?
Solomon.
Solomon. Solomon, the chat window is over your face. I apologize. And I had a whiskey, so because my character died early, so I had a whiskey just now. So there's other there are other companies that have the same American Shakespeare Center early modern practices DNA running through them. I encourage you to check out Sweet Tea Shakespeare, as well as Pittsburgh Classic Players, and a whole bunch of other ones that I'm sure we could rattle off pretty quickly.
Yeah, I have a quick plug too. Sorry, everyone. Shakespeare at Winedale is a program I'm involved with through UT. University of Texas, and I'm assisting, sort of directing a Zoom production of Midsummer Night's Dream that will be on Midsummer. So it'll be June 20th, and you can find the information if you Google Shakespeare Winedale or look on our Facebook page, but it'll be a live stream like this, and then it'll be recorded for Facebook, mainly UT students. And we just had our first rehearsal today.
Yeah, no one else jumping in. I'll say this reading also gave us a little sneak peek for Brave Spirits future shows. A lot of the supporting characters we didn't line up casting wise, but in this reading you did get a sneak peek of three major parts of casting that are coming in the Queen's Storm, which is Gary Dubriel as Richard, Duke of Gloucester, Joshua Williams as Edward IV, and Jacqueline Chenault as Queen Elizabeth. So you can look forward to those three people at the very least returning to those roles in the Queen's Storm, and of course many of these other wonderful actors playing a lot of other roles as well. Yeah, and I'll say that Brett was mentioning the grad school we all went to, which Josh went to as well, though that was after Brett's time, so he wouldn't have known that. And that's Mary Baldwin University, and we're very excited to be welcoming Fireside Shakespeare, the current MFA company of the Shakespeare and Performance program at Mary Baldwin, to be our guest artists for next Monday's reading of The True Tragedy of Richard III. That again will be at 7:30 p.m. And then we're wrapping up the online reading festival next Tuesday with John Ford's Perkin Warbeck. And that's going to be a collaboration with international artists, a cast of Scottish artists. And so that reading, we're actually going to shift the time so that they don't have to stay awake very early in the morning. So that reading will happen at 2:30 p.m. Our time here, the East Coast of America, so that it will be 7:30 their time over in the UK. So we hope you'll be able to tune in for our final two readings. Even if you can't make that time change, the reading will stay up for later viewing like the rest of these. Thank you and have a good night.
Claire, can you hear me?